Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show today. Of course, we are continuing our new campaign here using the Cortex system. This campaign, of course, is called UMBRAL. We're doing something a little different with this because we're running into problems with people having life. And not always being able to get people in on each week, and that's of course frustrating to those who can be. So I've changed and set up a system where it doesn't matter. We can run it with one, or we can run it with six, whatever. And of course, once again, if any of you are interested in coming to giving it a try and joining us out and seeing what this tabletop role playing is all about, come on and try it out. This is a perfect system to do it. And Umbral I've set up is it's kind of a mix. If you took Grimm and mixed it with X Files, this is what Umbral is. And then sprinkle in a little bit of Silent Hill, you know. So
A little
um,
bit of Silent Hill.
a
What
little
about
bit,
full Silent Hill?
a little bit, yeah. Well, it is very Silent Hilly. That was the joke, because but with the X Files aspect, seeing is you guys are actual trained investigators. But we'll of course get into that shortly. Let me go ahead and share out the main game screen here with everybody, so they can see. This is really cool. Of course, we have our standard way of me presenting it with my artistic slides. Do you guys appreciate my artistic vision?
We
I
appreciate you very much, Chester.
Well, thank you. It's nice. I
I'll
noticed
go
no
with that.
comment from GOP whatsoever.
You're my favorite Japanese man.
Thank you. I'm glad I fill some niche. But nevertheless, we have set this up in a very interesting way. I think it's the easiest way to do it, live streaming, right? And so there's visuals, but it also still stays within Minds Theater, which is something I appreciate. I have played a lot and done a lot with miniatures on the table, of course. But I come from, the the school of thought that you just have your characters in front of you and some dice, and just sitting there looking at each other in the eye and having a conversation and making stories together. And there's no maps, there's nothing on the table at all, other than the occasional someone mapping out an actual dungeon on a piece of paper next to their character. But then again, GOP, it kind of falls back into the concept of way back in the day. You'd play a video game and you would have a little notebook next to you, and you would have to take notes. Speaking of Silent Hills, right? And I just thought it was more of an investment. It drew you in more, don't you think?
mean, nowadays, with the internet, everything is just available for you. It's a lot easier, I guess. But yeah, no,
Well,
I understand like the value back in the day when I would play certain games and you just have to write down entire list of like, oh, this does, doing this does this,
yep,
and
yep.
it was interesting. It was definitely more of an investment
It
in
was,
that.
and the only company I see still kind of using that in any integral way would be Bethesda with their Skyrim stuff. I don't know the fall. I played Fallout 3 long ago, and but I haven't played since. But all the potion crafting, and potion and crafting, you got to kind of remember how things go together, right?
Well, once again, or you can do that, or you can go online and you know just look it all up that way.
Well, yeah, but I think that's
It's kind of
unfortunate.
cheap.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, let me go over in here and share this out, and so just to do that, and of course, if you guys are here listening, please do the same. I know this is a very niche thing that not everyone is interested to, give time to, and that's fine. Although I have to say, I've always been very surprised, guys, at how many people come back and watch it after the fact. I mean, we're talking about 3 hours, and people will sit and actually watch it, because we'll get a lot more views than you would think.
Four of those are me rewatching the deal, taking notes.
Well, that's
Yeah, I'm
fine,
sure.
but it's more than that, though. I've seen many as 100 people watch a one of our role playing sessions after the fact. It's like, wow.
Um, well, I
Well,
mean, I'm,
people are
I'm very
busy.
sorry.
Sometimes they can't watch live.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for anyone who's actually tuning in and has to hear me for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like the most retarded tart of my own day.
Fair enough. So, how does the self-deprecation go with the ladies there, Tower?
Oh, I don't even know what the fuck that word means, but I'm
Oh
yes.
my
it went
god.
well.
Wow.
Ah,
Well, self meaning yourself,
Yeah.
and to
Yes.
deprecate means to reduce in image.
just don't accidentally say defecate because it's a
Yes, don't
very
say that.
very different
Self-deprecation is
meaning.
nowhere near the same as
It's
self-deprecation.
way
That's
worse.
true.
It's way
Uh,
worse.
Meaning lower yourself, making jokes about yourself to humble yourself in front of others.
Oh yeah, I'm a very humble man.
Yeah, that's not humility, actually.
Oh, fuck.
It's kind of different category. But it can be used as comedy. I often I can use self-deprecation in comedy.
hmm
Some sound effects.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and
Prove
get
it.
into this. I did share, so we'll be able to look at that. Another thing we have, it's really cool that I appreciate is our this little dice thing we found. What is this called? This is called dddice.com. dddice.com. It's very cool. You create your own room. We did last week, and it's still here, still works. And everybody but Tower has signed back in. Oh, there he is.
I'm a,
Thank you.
yeah.
This is very handy. We can roll dice and see. In this game, you kind of have to do that. In other games, I don't really care what they roll. It doesn't matter. In this game, it's a little bit different. But this is very handy for any of you guys doing role playing, because I don't have to share this separately. Everyone's on this site with us. You could change your dice. You could change the look. You can see everything you need to see, and it's completely free. I mean, completely free. There's not even ads on it. It's just a resource some badass gamer threw up. Right? I mean, that's what this
Thank
is.
you, badass gamer.
Thank you, badass gamer. Yes, I agree. But anyway, we do need to do a little bit of reconstruction. So let me come back over the other side before we start, because Tower has lost his character sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, Tower fucked up.
Admonishment.
Admonishment. All right. So
Hey,
let me
hey,
go
hey,
ahead
hey,
and
hey. Really
bring this
quick,
up.
I will say though, to end last game, me and GOP went through and we decided for the magical ability for an amulet with astral protection.
No, okay. An amulet for your magical signature assets is what we went
Yeah.
over. So
Yes.
decided on an amulet of astral projection.
Oh, I'm retarded. I have really bad spelling.
Why is my thing?
Oh,
My thing is erroring on me. Why are you erroring on me? What are you
for
doing?
me?
No, I'm not talking to you. It says Acrobat Reader. There was an error processing a page. An internal error occurred. Well, thank you.
That happens from me to time to
I
time.
feel like you have a
Just gotta
really
bring
nice
it back up.
computer, Chester.
I
Do you have
do.
a really nice computer?
I most certainly do. Yes.
You probably have two monitors that are in 4K Ultra HD.
Yes.
He has an RTX 390 before anyone else did.
No, no. I'm not some peasant. What are you talking about?
I'm a peasant.
I'm
Send me
nuts.
one.
He's like, I have two 3080 RTX chips.
That's right, dude. I have a GTX
My
Zotac going on over here.
my shit's water
Y'all are
cooled with
speaking
the
over
tears
my
of pretty
head.
women.
Yeah, well, this isn't working. God damn it. So let me get rid of this, and I'll have to bring it up on another side. Thank you,
Oh,
badass
David's
gamer.
already
I
here.
agree,
Hi,
Dave.
David.
So let me go grab that real quick. Oh
What did
God.
Dave
Would you
say?
like to join us?
Hey, Dave
We would
could.
love to have you.
Yeah.
I probably have a friend who would really want to join this.
Let's
All
see
The
right.
more the
here.
merrier.
Yeah, no, anyone's welcome to come in and give it a try, dude. I'm happy to do that. So what are you doing here? All right, so let me bring this up.
While he's doing that, David, do you have access to the Discord server? Just let us know, and we'll post it for you.
All right.
Or actually, he'll post it because I don't have no command things.
Yeah, no, that's true. But let me bring this back up here and let's go through this real quick. This is brought. I don't know what the hell this is, but it'll work. Where's my bookmarks? What is this thing I'm using here? Just the PDF reader, I guess. Where's my bookmarks? Damn it.
I don't know where your bookmarks are.
Well, this is a fully notated document, right?
Okay.
Oh, I don't see them. Maybe it's over in here. Oh, here we go. Okay, fine. So let's see here. So yeah, this is more like a mobile version. This is interesting. Huh. All right, here we go. All right. Tower, you got a piece of paper?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to remake his character, and it's cool. Actually, it's handy because we'll show you how easy it is to do this. Now that we know exactly what we're using for a system, we can do this quite easily, right? All
Mm-hmm.
right, we're not using any of that. So let's see here, and here we go. Okay. No, did
Page you
I
starting on?
passed it, didn't I? I did. I did. I passed it. I wasn't. I was being too eager, wasn't I? Yeah, let me see here. Hold on a second. No, I'm not doing that. I'm doing the based on, oh yeah, from scratch. Okay, here we go. So first thing you want to do, Tower, and this is actually handy because you guys can see how easy it is. So Tower, write down. We have our name. You know your name. Your your character's name is Xander Lyons II. You're 45 years old, and you are the absolved. The absolved. And write down mental. Or sorry, how do they do it here? Physical, mental, and social. Write those down. And then you have to keep in mind this game's all about the dice, literally, whether we're rolling the dice or using the size of the dice, or
Yes.
stepping them up. And when we step up a dice, we go from like a D6 to a D8
You
or a
can roll.
D10 to
You can
D12.
roll like you roll anything from like 3 to 6 dice. You take the numbers, 2 numbers you want to take.
That's right. Yep.
Nothing greater than D10, correct?
No, D12. D12. Yeah. There's no D20s in this game. Anyway, so you can put either an 888 in that, or you can lower step one down and step another up. Therefore, you could put a 6, 8, and a 10. Anything you like. So obviously, physical is you're getting a dice for any physical action. Mental, you get a dice for any mental action. Social, you're getting a dice for any social
Six
action.
physical, 6 physical, 8 mental, 10 social.
Sweet. Okay. So next, your distinctions. These are the hard part. Well, I think SFX is a little noisy, but you have to have 3 distinctions that describe your character. This is
Yeah.
it depends on the role player, but this is one of the trickier parts, I think, for some people. But these distinctions are a phrase or expression or a sentence that will kind of really lay out what your character is, and therefore, any situation that would come up underneath that particular distinction, you get to add whatever dice is with that distinction. You need 3 of them, and you want them to be able to kind of fall into each one to at least have some piece in it that falls into the physical, mental, and social over the 3 that you're choosing. To give an example, Alpha Proto is saying boring. Well, thanks, Alpha Proto. So GOP, why don't you give us a read off your 3 distinctions, please?
Okay, let me let up real quick. My distinctions are tough CQB warrior, which is more my combat oriented distinction, and then I have magical lineage, and that's more my occult kind of distinction, and then I have keen-minded sleuth,
Uh-huh.
which is more along the lines of my knowledge and my ability to notice things.
That's right. Yeah. And any situation that we're in, if you can apply that distinction to the situation, you can add whatever dice is under that specific distinction. So you need to add those 3 things there, Tower. You need to do that,
Okay.
and then you need to add skills to it. So before you get into that, because you can do that while we're playing, really, let me go ahead and have you write down the skills. Where were they again? Here they are. Okay,
Oh,
write
I'm
these down
gonna
real quick.
rewatch. Yep.
Just write these down real quick. All right.
Yep.
Craft, drive, fight, fix, as in repair, fly, as in pilot, focus, influence, know, or knowledge, labor, which means physical acts, athletics, jumping around, lifting things, move, notice, operate. And some of these words I probably would have changed.
You forgot one. Occult.
Oh yeah, well, occult, which is one I added. Yeah, operate, it means to be able to use modern devices. Perform, which is your character certainly is going to have some dice in. Shoot, sneak,
Wait, what? What was that one?
sneak,
Oh, sneak.
as in stealthily move. Survive, throw, treat, which is your healing skill, medical skill, and trick.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Right. Yeah.
It's your ability to fool people
Fool
or be
people.
cunning or
You could probably apply it to prestidigitation as well, I would say. Did I hurt
yeah.
Oh,
Tower's brain again?
no. Tower's brain was able to keep up. Tower's
Okay.
brain was frantically also trying to search for the original piece of paper.
That's fair. That
Too
is
late
fair.
now.
But anyway, just write those down and keep those skills in mind, because each one of those distinctions is going to have two skills attached to them, right? For instance, GOP, please, again, your first distinction, which is very combat heavy, read the distinction again and the two skills that are attached to it that are highlighted with it, please.
CQB warrior, and that's fight and shoot.
Yep, perfect. Okay, so you work on that, and we will come back to you in play, and we'll just do the other setups as we go through play. So just create those three distinctions and apply two skills each to them, and we'll come back to you. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and get into it whilst Tower is doing that, and also listening at the same time, which will be good. But where was I? Oh, yes, here we go. All right. So what was that, Tower?
Making me multitask.
No, not really. Just come up with three distinctions that can flesh your character out. Keep in mind that for each situation we're in, you want to be able to have many dice in hand as possible, right? So no matter what's going on, obviously mental, physical, and social, one of those will fall under the situation. So you'll either have a D6, a D8, or a D10, depending, right? And so you want to have distinctions that will fall under as many situations as possible too. Because if you can't take any of your distinctions to say, well, it applies to this situation, you don't get a dice at all. You don't want that. Skills are easier because even if you don't have a skill, you still get a D4 to roll, right? Unless it's some specifically trained thing. You can't go and attempt a brain surgery, for instance. But in
I
general, you
mean,
can
I
try
did,
most
so
things.
we already know the outcome.
Yeah, well, I would think I would give you a negative 12d4. Yeah. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get into it. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
Now, we once again keep an eye on the chat there, please, lady, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
And I'll go here and start because I got to go to a completely another part of the world. But anyway, we are using Cortex Prime. Like I said, this is definitely we're doing a horror mystery based investigation based game here. I didn't I could have just went Call of Cthulhu, but I decided to open my opportunities a little more wider than that. But nevertheless, of course, it is Umbral, is our campaign that we're involved with here. And for all those who don't understand, the Umbra, is a term that is used to express the underworld or the nether. In this, to give a just super brief cosmology again, the general concept here is that dimensionally, in a dimension above us is the source, and it's just a dimension of pure life energy, and it rains down upon the universe. And any living planet, it causes, like Earth, it causes life to be, right? And dimensionally, not necessarily below us, but around us, and connecting all of the universe together is the Umbra. The Umbra is a dark place, but in the Umbra there are little pocket worlds all over the place. Who knows? There might well be more umbral pockets than there are actual living planets in the universe. The veil itself that separates our world from the Umbra is it's a reflection of our world. It's a darker and colorless and less exciting version of our world, but it does mirror it. And basically, in this cosmology, the rules of this world, everything is human based. There are no other races or species or anything like that. It's all human. However, the humans who don't have enough to ascend in their life to the Ador, and Ador is the word. I prefer this word. I think it's a more encompassing understanding of what the the Americans would call heaven, right? But those who don't ascend to that either end up getting eaten by something, or if they're able to survive, they can kind of live a semblance of a life again. However, a lot of them desire to come back into the world, and they will hover in the veil, looking for an opportunity to possess a human. And once so, they can apply magical things through the body, and this is where monsters come from. It's a very human thing. But our characters here, they are directly involved because they're all what is called gifted today. In the past, they would have been called Nephilim or something similar. But they are basically people who are touched by the Umbra are connected. They have a tether to it, which gives them some ability. And they are part of an investigation group that is called Dove. And Dove stands for the Department of Umbral Verification and Enforcement. You like that, GOP? You like that?
I do. I
Thank you.
do like that.
Thank you.
Very clever.
And Lady pointed out very clearly the grammatic error in it. Thank you, Lady. hmm 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 hmm
I apologize.
I
No, you were right. You're right. I dwelt over it far more than I should. But nevertheless, and that's what these guys are. Now, that's enough for the cosmology, I think, right? Good enough, right? I mean,
Yeah.
anybody have any questions, any more detail they want right at this moment?
Nope. Let's get into it.
Okay, fine. It's important, but it'll flesh out as we go. Anyway, so basically, our characters a decade earlier went through an experience. And they were kidnapped by cultists who were trying to raise some being they were calling Samael, which would have been a dead human that they're trying to, living in the Umbra. They're trying to powerful one. They were trying to bring in, but they kidnapped them and they were sacrificing them, and they actually did sacrifice GOP and Tower's character. They actually did sacrifice them. They stabbed them in the chest. A lady's little girl. You're playing a girl, right?
Yes.
Yes. A lady's was playing what, an 8 or 10-year-old little kid,
9.
and 9-year-old, and the dove itself came in to deal with it, and she was saved, and therefore ruining the ceremony. They were able to save these two, but because of the potions they drank and the experience itself, they've all been touched. Now, to be fair, it doesn't matter too much. It could come into play, though. It could come into play. The person who is most umbrally connected is GOP. The person who is least umbrally connected is Lady. But that doesn't play a mechanical point right now. But because he already came from a magical background, and he was literally sacrificed. So, but nevertheless, they saved you, and over the past decade, they have been training you to help in their job. Now, these chapters have been around for thousands and thousands of years, right? This situation it's a human one, and it's been around since humans have existed, right? And it's just currently inside the American government. It's a black book department that they call Dove. Now, they're not going to talk about Dove to anybody else in the world. When they're out in the world, they are carrying around a DOJ badge. Which that's how the American Black Book departments work. They're all attached to the Department of Justice. So if you meet a person from the Department of Justice, there's a fair chance that that person actually is not a member of the Department of Justice. For all I know, there is no Department of Justice. Anyway, but you guys have spent 10 years of training. They've taught you how to use the abilities you have, and they've also taught you in investigation and all the kind of things you need to go out there and kind of deal with these situations. Because what Dove tries to do, or this ancient organization tries to do, is kind of protect humans from demons, right? And demons, like I said, are just dead humans who didn't ascend, who have possessed a human body. And this is troublesome in many reasons. Obviously, when a body is possessed, their soul is corrupted and they can never ascend. That in itself is an absolutely unforgivable sin, right? Just that. So that's what they do. They just try to deal with it. It's such an overwhelming problem that you'll never be able to contain it. But they do their best. And during that 10 years, you guys, even though you all know each other and they put you together because of that, you met many people. Some of your training was overseas at other places. Some of your training actually was in the Umbra, in Umbral pockets, or Umbral realms, as they tend to call it. So you've met a lot of people from around the world. There are offices all over the place. Most major cities have an office in it. And you guys, after your training, have been attached to the Boston office, which is interesting because you guys are kind of from the New England area anyway. You chose that, I didn't, but it works out, so that's fine. Now, you guys have been settling in here at the Boston office for a couple of weeks, just kind of getting your apartment set up and all the kind of life things that you do. Although you met him once, you're sitting in the office of Antoine Berquist. Now, Mr. Berquist is the chief officer here at the Boston office. And he's not necessarily the dude that's going to give you all your jobs, but he's the boss. He's Skinner, right? If you ever watch the X Files, and he's sitting down and talking to you, and he's pretty chill dude. This is you know it's government, but it's not, right? And he speaks to Lady first, and he says. Let's see. I got your name written down here. You are Mavis, right? Mavis. So he says,
Mhm.
so, Mavis, how has your training been? Lady?
Mavis.
Mavis?
Hang on. I
Oh,
was writing down something. Training has been adequate, sir.
oh, great. Now, keep in mind, lady, the other guys have different experiences. Tower actually was a full on man, and a troubled
Yeah,
man.
but I was a kid.
You were a
Now
little
I was
kid.
raised, I was trained in this facade. This what
This
kind of
reality,
last
yeah,
yeah in the last 10 years, you know, I can't grasp on. I would figure it'd be a lot more like a boot camp type of thing. That's the reason
some
why
of
she
it.
responded that way.
No, that's fine. That's fine. In some ways, it was because they do want you not to die. I mean, obviously, right? So you've gone through some
Right.
pretty serious training, and your
So
skills
she
and
so
abilities.
at a young age, she became more uh, mature than
Mhm.
for her age, type of thing.
Well, sure, you don't experience like that, something like that, and still stay a child. True.
Right.
And he continues with you, and he says, "Oh, that's good. That's good. Where you guys have been on some training missions, you've done some ride-alongs, and but we got ourselves. You got yourself to the point that your licenses have been cleared and you're ready to go. And because of your history together, we decided to, go ahead and keep you together because you guys have kept in contact the entire time, whether either by your choice or by Dove's choice." Right, simply because
Okay.
of your connection, and he's
I
going to
personally thank you, sir.
Oh, you are welcome.
Mm, mm.
And he's going to send you over to the lady for to mission control here shortly. He says to Tower, he says, what is your name? Xavier? Xander.
Xander,
Xander.
Xander. Xander.
yeah,
So he says to you, Xander, he says, so
Xander.
how have you been finding things the past decade?
Oh, the coffee's not as good as it once was. You guys don't brew it thick enough.
Ah, well, we're not really a coffee city, are we?
No, sir. Don't make it like they did back in the Big Apple.
Ah,
Tell you
well,
that.
maybe you can fix that for us here at the office and get us some good coffee. Although I would say that Madeline over at the Old Tail would disagree.
I would need a pay raise. Get a new coffee maker like that.
Well,
Can't
the
go
now
the dog's pocket.
that was just a world reference. This building you guys are in Boston is a an old warehouse, one of the old brick warehouses that Boston is like littered with. And on the first floor, there are a couple little companies that pay rent to this building, but one of them is a an old bar, old style bar that is called the Old Tail. Is the name of the bar, and it's run by Madeline Chen. You guys, there's no way because you've been here back and forth a few times, and you've been here a couple of weeks at least. There's no way you haven't been there. It's literally on the first floor. It's right there, and the food's pretty good. For it's pub food though. There is a restaurant, a kind of a catty corner across the street that you guys probably have been to too. That restaurant is more of kind of a lounge restaurant. It's a full-on restaurant though. The food's pretty solid. It's called Franklin's, and that is run by Penelope. The Dove agency agents tend to frequent that. So you would know these two places. You would certainly know these two places. But he kind of leans over to Jacob, and he says, "How have you found your training?"
I mean, everything's going pretty well. I'm just interested in getting down to business.
Oh well, I thought you were from Britain.
I know I'm messing up the accent right now. I think there's something wrong with my voice. A little
That's okay.
scratchy.
But because you are the only personal military training here, and he says that's good, that's good. Well, I've read all your files. Everything looks really good. You guys did well on your tests, and we're gonna put you in the field. I hope you guys are ready for it. He just was kind of doing a little sit down before you went out, and he sent you over to meet a lady who you have met or at least seen, and she's terrifying, just so you know. And Her name is Lady Nimma. Lady Ninma, you've seen her around. You probably talked to her. You've gone to her office here because she is in charge of mission control. And she's the one who gives out missions and the communications. All of that is handled here, and stuff like that. So, but Lady Ninma, there's something very unworldly about her. I mean, excuse me, otherworldly about her. You guys are all umbrally touched, everybody here, but that doesn't mean it's manifested in you in a creepy way. Um, she clearly is like you, although you know nothing about her. But there's just something off about Lady Ninma. But the agency trusts her, so. And you guys go in and you sit down. This is a large room in here. And as you can see in the kind of background I chose, there's a bunch of computer banks and servers and so much people working. There's kind of off to the side, there's like this library loungy area. And that's where she kind of holds court. She doesn't even bother with a desk. She has a secretary, a little mousy lady that's always seemed to be trailing behind her, that is sitting nearby. But she just, as you see, sitting in this room, and she has a very Asian motif to her, although she doesn't seem to be purely Asian. Maybe some kind of mix. Nevertheless, you guys sit down, and she says, "Well, first mission. How fun." And she asks for all of you to give your name and a description of yourself. Well, for the listeners. Go ahead, GOP.
My name is Jacob Maccabee, and I'm military background, originally from London, and I'm just ready to get this first mission going.
All right. And lady?
My name is Mavis Ann Zigzag, called Max with two X's. Current age 19, though I probably look younger. Was raised here from the age of 9 on. I do have a South Texas accent, gray eyes, short, kinky hair,
Um,
a couple of scars, but I like computers. Computers like me.
Very good. Excellent. Tower.
I'm Xander Lyons the second. I'm 45 years old, from Chicago. I I'm doing deal with business dealings, and I got 3 skull rings on my hand.
Oh, very nice.
Three scorings.
Very nice.
Hush,
And
Paul.
walking in well, not, he's already in the room, but he kind of comes up. You guys have seen this guy around too. You haven't really spoken to him much because he's usually in the sanctorum, but he's kind of your cue. And his name is Dr. O'Hare, pretty wild looking fella. And
oh wow!
yeah, thank you. I love that picture. It's awesome. But
I
he's
don't see him yet.
it's you have to look at my screen on the Discord. You'll
Oh,
see him.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm sharing all the beautiful art and presentation for you on that.
Okay.
But this guy is, he's clearly was from Ireland. You can still hear a little bit of the accent in him, but not so much. He's been in America for a long time, it seems. But he's kind of your librarian knowledge base, and he's also in charge of equipment and stuff. Because a lot of the equipment they use is more artifact based rather than modern technology based. They just think it's more reliable. And he introduces himself, and he comes over and he hands each of you a communicator. Now these are little things that loop around the back of your ear and stick in one ear. Now it's designed to be used in the left ear. Okay, but these things look kind of like modern technology, but they do have runes on them. but these are actually magical devices that serve the same purpose. You guys can stay in communication with yourselves, and you can also contact mission control like you would with a cell phone. Now, I'm sure everybody here probably has a smartphone on them. I would assume in this modern day, but these things are just a fail-safe, fail-proof device for communications when you need it. All you have to do is simply touch it, and it will dial to your voice command. But it's just a way for you to contact mission control if you need so, and for them to contact you as well. And he kind of snaps his heel and bows. This guy is not as doesn't give off, even though he looks it, he doesn't give the vibe as creepy as Lady Ninma, but he also seems to be very old school. Chances are both of these people are not born in this century or the last one, right? There's a fair chance these are 19th century or older people. Anyway, so then Lady Ninma gets into explaining your mission. And she says, we're going to send you to a little town in Maine called Newton. And there is some disturbances going on there. And Agent Sims is on site. And get familiar with him because she explains to you that Agent Sims is kind of the ground contact guy, right? And she does strangely, seemingly warn you that he is human, which she says with a bit of disdain, by the way. But he's a human guy that he's part of the group of humans that track weird things going on, and he's kind of a ground team where he goes and make contact for agents coming in. That's what he is. So don't think that you're going to rely on him for any kind of backup. He is just human after all. But she doesn't really tell you anything about what is happening there. Just something odd is happening. And Agent Sims will have all of the information. She says, do you have any questions?
When do we leave?
Right now. She stands up. She walks, and Dr. O'Hare follows in her steps. And you guys go to the back of this room. And keep in mind, as you can see in the picture, it's a pretty sizable room. It's not quite the size of a high school gymnasium, but it's near size of it. And in the back of the room, there's a bunch of archaic gateways. There's a whole row of them, and they have runes written all over them. And there's some techie guys that, or maybe we should call them techno magic guys, that are booting them up. And you guys all have on you either a bracelet, a ring, or an amulet. You choose, because I know some of you have magical items on you. This is your second item I'm giving you. And these, whichever device you choose, what these things do is they sync you to the gate. Now, these gates are going to drop you wherever they want to put you, right? And you can retrieve yourself at any time by magically activating the artifact that you have. Like I said, it's either going to be a bracelet, a ring, or an amulet, your choice. And this will bring you right back here instantly. Now, it doesn't allow you to teleport. It doesn't allow you to go wherever you want. It's literally just connected to this room. However, it's much easier for the organization to move people around with these magical devices because keep in mind whether and this is an important thing to understand in the world. Um, there are three types of non-normal humans you're going to run into, right? You have demons, which are dead lingering spirits that have possessed a human, and they have direct access to the Umbra, therefore they have access to magic. You have those. You have people who are umbrally tethered, which is what you are, right? And then you have people who are magically touched. right? And the difference between the magically touched and the umbral tethered is very simple. You guys all, because you're tethered to the Umbra is expressing itself through you in some natural magical ability, right? Which each of you have. But the magically touched are somehow connected to the Umbra, where a normal human wouldn't be. But they don't have any innate ability. All they have is the ability to use umbral stuff, umbral energy, to infuse in objects. So magic in this world, which does exist, although it's very limited, and but you guys are deep in it, is all based on magical items that people carry, right?
Okay.
You're extremely rare. The fact that you actually can do something magically, yourself through your own body without a device, it's very rare. Those magically touched people, which are usually called like a wizard or a sorcerer or a witch or something like that. You guys, although they don't really use the word much anymore, you guys would be considered the magi or maguses. The magi are people who are who are umbrally tethered. But like I said, they don't use, that's an ancient word they don't use anymore. But nevertheless, those are the three kind of people that you will run into. So just keep that in mind. So they're going to teleport you over to Newton, and they pump up the gates, and you see this kind of image of a little park, and there seems to be a police station in the background. And she says, "Well, get at it."
All right. Before we leave, I want to clarify something too.
Sure.
Um,
Please.
so I did switch because I realized the whole gaseous form thing for my magical signature asset doesn't really work because I'll just drop all my stuff. So I decided to instead go with the clone option. Um, so I
You
would
already said
have
that.
okay, but I'm saying that I've got a clone with me right now, so he would also have to have a ring, and because I'll just have one active unless he gets killed, then I'll have to make a new one.
No, clones don't work like that.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
No, no. Clones are well, I'm just making an on-the-fly decision. Clones are directly connected to you because they are spiritually connected to you. You're actually splitting your soul by doing it, right? So they are you, and and a clone can merge in and out of you at will, right?
Okay.
As far as once they're activated, right? Because you have to use a PowerPoint to use them, right?
To create one.
Yes,
So
that's right. So once it's created, it can meld in a very creepy way with you, in and out as you at will.
okay, I don't have to spend a point every single time it pops in and out. It's
No,
just
unless it gets destroyed or you dismiss it
okay.
for some reason. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. So he doesn't need a ring.
Okay.
He can just pop back into me.
That's
Okay.
right. Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Although,
I
was there?
do.
Hold on a second, lady. Was there a limitation written into that PowerPoint usage?
There is no time limitation
Yeah, I
mentioned
didn't think so.
anywhere.
Yeah, so it just is what it is. But kind of consider it's mostly in you most of the time because all of these abilities have negative side effects, right? Well, what is your limitation you chose for that ability?
Psychic feedback was one of the options, so I'm going to save it
Yeah,
there. If
that's
there's some sort of
perfect. Yeah, that's
No.
perfect.
yeah.
Basically, when you're using your single clone, you only have one. It's extremely useful though. And keep in mind as we go forward. No, I won't get into that. But every time you use it, it is unnerving because you actually feel empty when you're using your clone because you've literally divided your soul, right? And it's the fact that you are literally umbrally tethered. You feel that shit, right? So it's not a comfortable thing to do, but yet it is
Well,
extremely useful. So
my character is used to not being comfortable.
yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not limiting you. I'm just
Yeah.
adding, some narrative here. All of these abilities you have, of course, they do have mechanical limitations, but they're also, you are dealing with the Umbra. And keep in mind, the mortal world that you're in, you're technically still mortal, right? It is squished between the positive plane and the negative plane. It's called the source, life, and the umbra, decay and death. Entropy, right? Dealing with the umbra gives you power because the source. That's hard to get any connection to that, and they do exist. Those source based tethered people are still called the magi. They still use that
Okay.
word for them. It's just not being used for you guys anymore. But they are wicked powerful, right? But just keep in mind, because it's the Umbra, there's negative to it. There is burden, right? Anyway, lady, go ahead.
That was part of my question, was that I thought the Magi were connected to the source, not the Umbra.
Well, these days
But
they only
you
use
just
that
you
term
just
for
cleared
them.
it up.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You
Um,
just cleared it up.
they used to be kind of unanimous and they used to work together. But I don't want to get into too much here because we want to move along. But there was a big old war not that long ago, a few centuries back. That, of course, you guys weren't around for it. Some of the people around you might have been. But that separated it. And the They will never use that word for you because they consider you to be betrayers. But the most of the umbral people won't use it on principle. That's kind of why they don't call you magi anymore. But it doesn't matter. That's ancient history. It's not really applying today, and honestly, it's erratically rare to run into a magi anyway. They just don't. There's not. Then I don't. You're getting me on a tangent, lady.
I'm sorry. I
All
mean,
right.
you use the Magi, and then our universal limitation is that our
Our powers don't
ability, our powers won't work when Magi are
abilities.
present.
No, they won't, and that's one of the problems with the Magi, and why there's so
Oh,
much disdain with them amongst the Umbrals, because the
okay.
Umbral, any kind of device you've created, like magical item that you have, those work fine. But your innate powers are muffled around the Magi, and this is what gives them a huge advantage. But yes, that's we're getting into a little bit deeper narrative, which we will continue to delve into maybe, right? But anyway, Tower, how you doing with those distinctions, dude?
I kind of wrote them down, but I was going to ask you a question.
Hmm.
Can I, with my distinctions, just take the loss for this one game, go back, re-watch that part of the last episode, and copy them down because I did really like the distinctions I had?
Yes, no, you had one that was a sly,
Something
Bars.
barfly.
yeah,
Yeah.
sly, weathered barfly. That one was great.
Yeah.
Write
Yeah, you
that
should
down.
definitely keep that one.
Yeah.
Then he has some kind of leadership one too.
A
Then
commander. That was the third one. It was
the second one was like Umbral
wilderness
Explorer.
commander.
Well,
The
I was
second
going to,
was
yeah.
no, I was saying the second one was something like Umbral Explorer or something.
Yeah, no, it
I forget what
was.
the first one was.
There was an Umbral Explorer one, and there was a Wilderness Commander one, and they each had a different adjective on them as well, an additional one. But yeah, no, that's fine. But
That's,
just you're
I remember that one, but
we'll
I'll go
we'll
back.
we'll play it out. Therefore, to make that easy for us right now, when you go back and look at that, but for today, all your distinctions are a D8. Right? Because
Okay.
it's the same thing. You could have a D6, a D8, and a D10 just like you did with your physical stuff. But we'll just make them all D8 today, just to make it simple. And then your skills, all of the highlighted skills are set at a D6 automatically. Every other skill is a D4, and you could spend 9 points of stepping. Right, so a step, same thing. A D4 goes to D6, D6 to D8, etc., etc. You have 9 points to spend. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So you guys pass through the portal and you come into that park. in the town of Newton. Now, Newton is a very standard New England town. We're in Maine, particularly. You know, you have zero information about this at all. I would assume that at least one, if not all of you, are a little bit concerned that you weren't given a briefing or paperwork or anything. That seems odd, and especially not with the training that you have had. But nevertheless, here you are in this gorgeous little New England town. I mean, could you be more paradisical than this? I mean, come on, look at it.
My character's a city boy, so he
Yeah, but
doesn't
I
really
mean,
appreciate the
oh, come
countryside.
on now. That's gorgeous. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it.
Oh, oh yeah, no, I appreciate it, but I don't think my character would.
I come from a
He's used
town
to.
just like this.
I was abducted in Maine.
You might well have been. Yeah. But
Actually, it was part of my background thing I
yeah,
wrote up.
there you go.
Yeah, it
But
was
Maine
Rockwood.
is a nexus center for some reason, according to Stephen King, anyway. So, but nevertheless, you guys are in the park, and you were given a visual on Agent Sims, and he's walking up to you as you speak. Here he is. Now, Agent Sims, like I said, is a human. He's part of the human side of the department, which you've certainly interacted with them over the years. But one thing you've definitely learned in the past 10 years is that although there's plenty of friendly relationships between the Umbrals and or just we'll use the word gifted, and the humans. There certainly is. You don't seem. It seems, you know, on kind of like the deep down inner seams of it. They don't trust humans 100%. So all of the authority within the department that you've ever seen, the actual authority is all gifted people. But humans are certainly involved. and Nevertheless, he is standing here, and he comes up to you and he says, "Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Agent Sims." He reaches his hand out uh, to shake it.
I shake his hand, just kind of give a little nod. Um, I'm Agent Maccabee.
Nice to meet you. And he reaches over to the young woman.
Call me Max.
Max, nice to meet you. He leans over to the other 30-year looking young man. Now I know you're older, but you guys you're young as far as a gifted is concerned. So you might not have the cynical views that the older ones do, right? But it certainly has raised suspicion in you about humans because of the way they no one said anything to you directly. But You have this feeling, right? But you're too young to really be cynical. However, one thing is definitely true about not with Lady, but with GOP's character and Tower's character is you guys in the past 10 years have either not aged in GOP's point of view very much or reduced in your age appearance. So you don't look like an old dude, Tower. You look like you're around 30,
Okay.
28, something like that. You look and you're very hale, by the way. Everyone here is incredibly hale.
What
Even for someone that
hell?
has a Milano skin,
What was that again, lady?
even for someone that has a MELANIN skin color.
Melanin?
What does that have
That's
to do with
dark.
hale?
He
What is
said
hell?
pale.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hale means healthy and strong in body.
Oh, I thought you said pale. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you told me you were playing a black girl. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
doesn't mean anything. There's nothing wrong with that. No, hale just means healthy and fit. Matter of
Okay.
fact, most of the humans, you know, these are literally government department people, so they're all pretty healthy. The humans, there might be a techie here or there. It's a little chubby. But As far as any umbral you've met a lot in the past 10 years. Like I said, your training is kind of taking you all over the world. You guys have seen a lot of things, and it's a good thing because it's opened your mind and it's widened your point of view quite a bit by doing that. You've never seen a gifted that wasn't Hale. It's part of being umbrally connected. it keeps you in incredible shape. And like I said, it extends your lifetime. You know, there's no reason you couldn't live 2 or 300 years naturally without magical assistance. That it's just part of it, right? So, and I'm glad that I'm teaching you guys new words.
Mhm.
Just,
Listening.
just
Okay.
That's great.
yeah.
I'm just sitting back here, just like smiling and nodding, like, okay, here's another one for the group.
For the record,
How is that not a known word? It's such a normal word. It's a four
I
letter single
I
syllable word.
What I heard was
I know.
tell.
It's a root word, for fuck's sake, dude.
Yeah. No, I know. I
I've heard it
know.
sentence before, dude. I'm not even kidding.
It's just funny. It's fun when you actually have to explain words to the group. Yeah, I know the words. I'm just sitting back here smiling and nodding. You
I'm just
can't see
glad no
me,
one bid on
obviously.
the prestidigitation one. Jesus.
I'm just
But
gonna pretend what that means.
no, no, no. It means to be able to dexterously do things with your hands, like an illusionist, a stage magician, right? But anyway. But you guys look like that, and he shakes your hand, Tower, and he says, "Okay, well, they told me this is your first mission, and I don't know what it is, but I haven't been here myself. But did you guys get the case file on Newton?"
We haven't got anything yet.
Oh, is
In
this
fact,
your
they said
very,
you were
very
supposed to
first
get it.
mission?
Yeah.
Oh,
Last
damn
time
it.
I got infected, and then they gave me some steroid pills. Here
Um,
I am now.
yeah, what office are you coming out of?
It's for me to know and you to decide, Bucko.
No, that's not the right answer at all. No, no.
We're from Boston.
You're from Ninma. I see. Well, don't feel bad about it. She does it to everybody. She believes, not into the pan, but in directly into the fire type of thinking. But it's all right. I'm sure you'll get case files from now on. But all right, Newton. I'll give you the lowdown. You guys stand in the edge of the park here in front of the police station having this conversation, and he says that it's first time for him being here, but the case file on Newton is thick. There's a lot of weird shit goes on in this town. And there are many places across the world and that are like that. And the reason why is because Newton has a nexus point, right? And a nexus point, you guys know what this means. It is a place where the Umbra kind of leaks into reality, right? The source can never leak into reality. It rains down on reality, but it can never leak in because the umbra separates us from it. So there's no way for that to happen. But the umbra can leak in. And he said this one in particular is even more troublesome because you guys know, like with the Boston office, if there is a nexus, usually some magical organization or group is going to build something on top of it, a temple, a headquarters, a sanctorum or something like that is going to be built on top of them because it's an incredible useful access to umbral energy, right? However, the one here in Newton doesn't have that because it's a broken nexus. He's not sure how it became broken. It's just simply in the file said that it is broken, and this makes the flow of umbral energy chaotic. Sometimes it's almost non-existent. Other times it can just flow into incredible gouts of uh, decay and rot, which the umbra can cause. And therefore, this town has seen a lot of trouble over its history. But nevertheless, this is his first time here. It's your first time here, and he seems to think that by looking at the case file, that this is kind of almost a training ground because it's one of those cities that's used that way because there's always something weird going on. But nevertheless, he explains that the police department here has made they're kind of privy to what's going on and privy to Dove itself, although they probably don't know that you're actually called Dove. They would just see you as Department of Justice people, but they're privy to the magical understandings because of that. And when they have a problem, they know to call who to call. right? They don't make they don't make calls to the standard government people. They know exactly who to contact, and they've done that in this case. And he doesn't know exactly what's going on, but there seems to be a body that does not belong. So uh, he says, "You guys have any before we go in and speak to the police here? Do you guys have any questions about the case file?" He's got it in his hand. He's kind of flipping through it. Old school, actually. He's not. This isn't on a digital device. This guy, even though he doesn't look that old, he seems to be. This guy looks like the dude from The Expanse, which is kind of awesome. But he is kind of old school about it. Any questions?
Can I take a look? And I hold out my hand for the file.
He hands it over.
Okay. I'm looking for things like time of death, location, just kind of images of the body, just anything I can glean from. I'm sure I'll see more as we go inside, but
They don't have that yet. That's why you're here. The
okay.
only thing it's here is a body that doesn't belong is the title at the beginning of this particular case file. But but you do recognize by looking at, well, no. Let's go ahead and start using mechanics. We normally you wouldn't have to, but let's just do it for fun. So let me go ahead and bring up the dice thing here. And Tower, I want you to put a dice pool together. Not Tower, excuse me, GOP. I want you to put a dice tower to God damn it, my brain.
A
I
dice tower.
Nice.
a
Oh,
dice,
gotcha.
yeah, dice tower, a dice pool together, GOP, to see what you glean from this file. So this is how we build, right? So we're looking at building a dice pool. So the first thing we need to do is, what would this fall under? Physical, mental, or social?
All under mental.
Of course, falls under mental. So what is your die in mental?
D8.
A D8. All right. So next, we're going to see if we can find one of our distinctions to apply to this role of, what do you glean from a case file, right? So which one of your distinctions you think would apply?
Keen-minded sleuth is another D8, but also
Perfect. Yeah.
one of my special effects allows me to um basically increases my sleuth ability, but it downgrades my warrior ability for a scene. So I can increase that to a D10.
And I would not do that in this particular situation, because you don't need to. It's not that. I wouldn't even normally make your roll. I'm just doing this mechanically.
Okay.
So let's not hinder
Okay.
ourselves quite yet. But that is something he could do. But let's. I'm trying to explain mechanics, GOP. So
All
let's
right.
keep it
Yeah,
simple. Yeah.
I'm at 2D8 right now between
Okay.
my
So
ability and
he's got one from
his.
a D8 from mental and a D8 from his. Read that distinction again.
Keen-minded sleuth.
Keen-minded sleuth. So he's got 2d8 so far in his pool. And what skill would you apply to this?
My knowledge skill.
Knowledge skill.
Uh,
Which, yeah, but that has to
eh,
be specific. Which knowledge?
uh, okay. So, well, I have knowledge that says D8, but then I also have a medic ability
That,
underneath it.
yeah, that wouldn't. Well, that could apply. You could be Scully, um, uh, but but in this situation, it wouldn't apply. It wouldn't apply. So what is that? A D8? You said
Yeah, I've got a
a
D8.
D8. All right. So there you go. Now, do you have any special assets that would add to this?
Let's see.
Assets are things,
Uh,
objects, locations, contacts, things like that.
I all I have down here for right now is my signature asset, which is a gun, which wouldn't help. And I have my abilities, which neither of them really feel like they'd be useful in this
Yeah,
particular
you
scenario.
do have one natural ability and one magical thing you created, which was part of your graduation process. That now you have a medallion or an amulet. What is that specifically?
So that is the Lion of Judah amulet.
Hmm.
And it is basically allows me to create a clone of myself. So it's not going to be useful in this particular scenario.
Oh, I see. And what is your actual power then?
Oh, my ability is density control. I can
Oh, okay. All right. Then I'm sorry. I misunderstood that. So your clone is through the magical device is PowerPoint activated, and we're going to have to come up between you and I a time limit because magical items all have limitation in time. They all have that.
okay.
So we'll have to work that out. We won't worry about that right now. but because a certain one applied to the today. But I thought that was your natural ability. Your natural ability is different because it is innate. But anyway, all right. So he's got
Can I?
3d8. So go ahead
Yeah.
on this DD dice. Roll your 3d8. And first of all,
Okay.
I need to roll to give him a difficulty because this is any time that there is a skill test, a test is what we're doing. I roll first, and then you try to beat me. In a
Okay.
contest, which is whether it be combat or you're fighting over something or trying to get to a door first or anything like that, that is actual action involved, then you roll first and then I roll. But in this situation, I roll first, and I got. I only have 2d6. My Doom pool starts fresh, and I rolled a 9. So you need to roll a 9 or higher. So go ahead.
Alright. I definitely beat you.
Yeah, you did.
That is a that's a
Now,
20.
yeah, so this is what we're going to do. It doesn't work like that. What you and I should have rolled it naturally. I just rolled the doom dice I have in front of me because I need the actual size of the dice in the pool. So I should have done this myself anyway. I do apologize. But so I have 2. Let me roll. All right, so 10. All right. So I got a 10. So you definitely beat me, but let's take a look what he got. He got a 6, an 8, and a 6. Now you have to choose 2 of those and add them together. And the other one is going to be
Okay.
your effect die.
Okay. Well, I'll add the 6 and the 8, and then the other 6 I'll have. I mean, well, the other 6, which is a D8. The D8 will be my effect die. They're all D8s, but
Yeah, I know.
so it's basically a 14 on my actual, accuracy side of it, and then a D8 on the other side of it.
All right. So in this situation, he beats me, right? So he succeeds in it. But the effect die is very important because one of your dice, if you have an extra dice, in this case he does, applies to your effect. If you don't have an extra dice, like for me right now, I only have 2. My effect dice is a D4. And the size of the dice is what matters for the effect, not the roll. So it's a D8. Now, what that means is he got a pretty, right in the middle of the road, an 8, an excellent success. So you're able to breeze through this and gain a lot of information pretty quickly, and you find out uh, that there are a lot of things that go on here. There have been one of the things you kind of notice that you glean off of the file is 2 things. One, this case file that is kind of empty right now. We were about to go talk to the police. Is case file 256. That's a lot, right?
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot.
and also, the you see that there just by skimming through it, you see that there seems to be a lot of hedge wizardry and witch problems here. Now, keep in mind in our world, a hedge wizard or a witch, or even maybe a warlock, these are very low end people when it comes to umbral ability, right? And magical ability, particularly a witch. Witches are very low end. However, what makes witches dangerous, because what they can do is mainly potion based, which is the easiest type of manual magic, right? Or general magic, is potions. That is like the easiest thing to do, and that's the witches are so they're kind of. I don't know if I'm going to piss somebody off, but they're almost like the peasants of the magical world. Let's just put it that way. However, what makes a witch potentially dangerous is because they desire for power. A lot of witches, a tradition amongst witches, is to make deals with demons. And demons are simply human spirits that have possessed a body. However, they have direct contact to the Umbra, even more than you do, right? Therefore, they can grant, especially if it's a powerful demon, they can grant things, and that's why witches can be dangerous, is because of that, not their innate abilities. Nevertheless, a lot of that kind of stuff has gone on here. You see that a lot in the file. So, and it's probably because the nexus is a broken nexus, and it's You know, a serious magical user wouldn't really give Newton a time of day. You know what I mean? But you see a lot of that has gone on here. So keep that in mind. Anyway, you guys then, uh,
Question.
yes.
Look at the dice that he rolled.
Hmm.
What do those dice read? Looks like a 444 to me. That's not what he wrote.
What?
It's not what it
No.
looks like at all. Here's GOPs. It's a 6, an 8, and a 6. And if I flip it back, we see it's an 888. There are three 8-siders here, and I can click on it again to show the number. I can click back to show the dice itself. It's very handy for us. See?
Well, okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at my own roll thing. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I know I haven't looked at it much
Okay.
myself because I don't really have those issues. But I did hear Tower had said last week that there is a way to increase size of the images on the screen. Well, no, I mean,
No, but see, those three dice right there all read 4 on their
Yeah,
sides.
it's a placeholder image on there, so it's not going to tell you the exact number on the dice. If you click on the
yeah,
just
I
click
just
on
demonstrated it.
space, yeah,
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
it'll bring up the actual number.
look at the dice, right? Watch me. Yeah, can you guys see this when I do this?
Hang
No, we
on.
can't see it when you do it.
Oh, well, there you go. But if you
Well,
go to the side roll, lady, where you see there's a list of the rolls, and if you click on the dice, they will bring up the numbers. Just click on the
All
dice.
right.
See? Like, if you look at the YouTube, you can see me doing it. See?
I forgot that I made
Yeah.
my dice deck. Whoa, David, nice dice.
Sure.
I did see
Okay.
it on your deal.
Okay.
I'd
Okay.
refresh my page so all the rows are gone. So, okay.
Oh well, yeah, that's the way that is.
That's life.
But anyway, so we're going to go into the police department now. You guys walk in the front, and this is a smaller town, right? There's probably what, less than 20,000 people in this town, right? Maybe even closer to 10,000. It's not very big. It's quite small. You guys go into the police station. It's not particularly busy. But as you come in, you do talk to the man at the front desk. He sends you, because you all have badges, but Sims takes the lead. He is the human contact, by the way. You guys have been trained in this. And he sends you to the back, and you go back into the detective cage, which is what they usually call it. And obviously, a phone call was made from the front desk because there's a lady who walks up and introduces herself. And she says her name is Deputy Pauls. And very happy to have you here. She says it's another one of those wacky ones. So you guys are one of those agencies, huh?
give her a little nod. Um, I don't think I need to show her my badge because we've already come in with yeah
No, you
with
don't.
the
You don't. And
yeah.
you guys probably, through your training, your badge is visible on your belt anyway, or somewhere on you.
Mhm.
In this situation, normally you don't walk around with your badge out all the time, obviously. But in these kind of situations, they tend to be easily displayed, right? She says the sheriff usually handles those things, but he said I need to kind of get used to Newton, so he put me in charge of interacting with you today. And She takes you across the room, and she takes you over to a desk, her desk, and on the back of the wall, behind her desk, you see a whole bunch of information, crime photos, dead bodies, all kind of stuff. And she says that Newton's got a bit of a history of having a lot of problems, and all of these things here are outstanding stuff that we're trying to work on. But we found a body uh, 2 days ago, and we didn't know it shouldn't be there. And the sheriff immediately made a phone call, and they told us not to touch it, so we didn't touch it. We left it be
Where'd you find the body?
in the woods,
What woods?
the white wood.
Oh,
Is all of this on computer file?
it would.
She says, of course. And what are you talking about? Is all what on file?
Is everything she's pointing to the wall, indicating all this picture and information on the computers?
Of course, but they're not. They're not this case. These are open cases, and they're all weird. She
Right.
says. You guys can look at the board if you like.
I'm gonna study over the board, see
Yeah,
what I
studying
can
of the
glean.
boards and have Paul get into their computer system to get a copy of their files on the current case
Well, she's not
and
sure that she
back
should
cases.
do that because these are not related to this case.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm focusing on the case at hand. So I'm gonna look at what she actually has displayed out.
Yeah, and like I said, this isn't this case, but you can see that they're quite horrific pictures. Dead bodies. Some of them are missing their flesh. Others, the skin has a very strange pallor. You see a couple of these things written up where the blood is completely missing from bodies. You see others where they don't look quite human. Yeah. And lots of weird stuff. That just this is the weird wall for this police department, and in Newton they have a lot of weird. But these are all open cases and things that they're working on. And who knows? These things might have been contacted to the department for or not. You have no clue. You could go through that case file and check them one to one, but it is not really related to what you're doing, because this one in particular has got them a bit shook. You can see she's nervous. She knows what's going on in Newton, but she's never interacted with any agency before. You can see she's a country cop. She's a deputy actually. So she is a bit nervous, but you can tell by when how she said the body, and it didn't belong. She's a bit shook.
But what exactly is the difference between this particular body in this particular case versus past open cases that you have?
It's impossible.
Hmm.
was it
She,
stuck in a tree or something?
no, she said better. I think it better just to show you, but she points to the board. She says all those things are weird. They're weird, but they could happen, right? These things could possibly be, right? This thing, no, no. Anyway, I better just show you. So she kind of waves you along, and she leaves out, and she's got one of those big old a Bronco type of cop vehicles, and everyone piles into it. Sims as well.
Yeah, I almost called shotgun, but I didn't. I'll get
Well,
it
I mean, it
back.
doesn't matter. Anybody can sit wherever they want. But there's plenty of seats for everybody. We got 5 people with us right now, and it's filled, but there's plenty of room. And you guys drive out of town into a nearby forest that is called the
I
White
got
Wood.
I got my funny looking phone out,
Yep.
doing traces,
Well,
tracking
now
where we're going.
this town is a normal American town. Like I said, we're set in the normal time, so there's plenty of hotspots, Wi-Fi hotspots, and of course they have their local cable, which is probably in New England connected to Comcast, I would assume. And you have all those kind of normal things going on. There's not a ton of activity here. It is a pretty small town. You're in the country, but you don't see anything odd at all. And once again, as an explanation with Cortex, there's no need for her to roll for that,
Right.
right? That's just something normally you would get, but you don't see anything odd. Okay. But anyway, you go into the Whitewood. It's quite beautiful. Like I said, we're in New England, and the autumn leaves are kind of coming to their end. But it's certainly. I don't. We might even probably had a snowfall here. Wasn't there a blizzard in New England last week or something? But nevertheless, you come into the Whitewood, and as you're driving in, she says that they do get weird stuff out of the woods sometime, and she said it's near that. She said it's near that place that we're
How
not supposed to go to.
about you enlighten me on what that place is?
She says, I think you guys call it a nexus.
Hmm.
She said it is in the back, way back part of the wood, but the townsfolk do use these woods, at least in the front part, for camping and picnicking and all kind of stuff. It is quite active, but no one goes deep into the woods. And sure enough, as she's saying that, she rolls up to a picnic slash campground, right? And parks and gets out. And she says, it's pretty rare that we come across stuff so far out, meaning so far away from the nexus. It's easy. It's usually either some deep in the wood that some hunter comes across, or something that's domestic. She said. But this is just right here. And of course, you guys see all the picnic tables. We're sitting right now. It's around lunchtime. There are actually a couple of old people over there sitting, just having a chat, a little lunch together. There doesn't seem to be too much activity in the camping area, although you see a tent or two. However, she walks, and you guys follow. Not
Yeah.
300 yards, and there it is, and it's all been taped off and cordoned off. And there's actually another deputy who's standing outside of it, and he seems almost ill. When you come up to him, and he kind of nods her head. He's quite young. He's probably around 20, 23, 24, something like that. She's a little bit older. And he says, Deputy Pauls, I've done a good job. I haven't left. She said, "That's good. That is good." And she walks past this guy, and like I said, he's very disturbed. He's shaky and uncomfortable. But as you guys walk in, you come up, and there it is, dude. It's just sitting on the frickin' ground.
Oh, okay.
This is I.
Um, it's just a skeleton. There's no flesh or anything that I can determine.
It's a
Oh, and
skeleton in a 1960s astronaut suit. Yeah.
No, I know. I've gathered that's the weirdest. That's the weird part of it. Um,
is
I'm
it like a full bodysuit that's enclosed?
Can you see the picture?
Oh, let
Yeah, you
me.
kind of need to
I was
follow around
Taking,
along. I
take,
mean, this is
yeah.
part of
yeah,
it, right?
taking take,
dice screen. I was on the dice screen. Oh,
yeah, got too many screens now. Yeah,
I was.
taking pictures around the area of it.
I
Is it
I have my
any?
gloves on right now, and
Okay.
I'm going to take a closer inspection. So are there any burn marks on the suit at all?
No. The
Okay.
only other than it does look old, the only particular damage to the suit is that the visor is broken out. The glass is gone. Now, when you look at the badge and the uniform itself, this is a deeper understanding. So, if anybody here thinks they have a role to make to understand a little bit about that suit, then you can make that.
I mean, our computer person here could kind of look up
I would think so.
the different
Inform
the
Yeah,
Year.
different types of.
using my computer ability, just the general thing about, is this suit actually can be identified by NASA as it's one of their original designs?
And keep
Using the
To
power of
me, it
Google.
doesn't look like one of their
Well, and
designs.
keep in mind, because you do have access to Dove databases, as well as DOJ databases and government ones.
Uh-huh.
You can certainly make that role better than a normal human could. Unless
Okay.
so therefore, let's make a roll,
Yeah.
lady. So let's put our
Okay.
pool
So this is going to
together.
be
So first of all, what do
all
we got to
right.
use? Physical, mental, or social?
Mental.
Mental. So what is that die?
No, it's an 8.
I don't know. Okay, it's an 8.
Okay.
And which one of your distinctions are you going to apply to this?
The hacker,
Okay, so what is that?
a 10.
A 10. Okay, and what skill would you apply to this?
Um,
And you have a computer skill, like
I'm
would it
sure
be under
she
yeah.
has.
knowledge?
She probably has
I
operate, and
have
then she has
computer
a specialty.
science, then I have operation of 8 as well.
Okay, so that's another 8. Do you have a specialty in that?
Computer science, yes.
No, underneath operate, is there a specialty?
Yes.
Okay.
I never
Uh,
wrote it down.
well, I don't know. You don't. You have to spend points for specialties, lady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if there isn't one, you probably don't have one. We were building the character. That's fine. So we have a D8, a D10, and a D8. And do you have any kind of asset that would add to this, or power, or SFX, or anything like that?
Of course, I got a smartphone
You
that
have
helps me do ex
your special magical one. So
yeah,
therefore,
which
what
is
is
a
the dice rating on that?
it's a it isn't it just a plus 1d6
N- n-
added to the rows?
Okay, so you didn't up that. That's fine. So it's a D6. So therefore, we have a roll a D8, a D10, a D8, and a D6. Roll it. Oh, let me give you a difficulty on my side. I'm rolling high. Another 10. Oh, I did it again. God damn it. Let me do it over here like I'm supposed to. It is
Okay, am
slow.
I supposed to be
I
looking
got an
at
11.
my screen or your screen?
No, you just roll your dice. Just roll your dice. You
Okay.
just saw me roll, and here you go. All right. So now,
Damn!
now this is what happens. All right.
God,
So first of all, there are three of those dice that I
holy
now
crap!
own. Okay. So that was
Um,
a D6. I think the D8, and two D8s, right? The D10 actually rolled a 10 for you. So let me go
yeah.
ahead and take those. So I get a D6 and I get two D8s. And lady, you get a PowerPoint. You get two
Oof.
PowerPoints, lady. Oh, sorry, three. You get three PowerPoints.
Yeah, you got. If you would have rolled another one with that last roll, or
I
with
would
that
have
that
done
D10,
horrible things to you.
oh, your
Yeah,
your asset probably would have
don't roll
exploded.
all ones. You're in trouble. But anyway, lady, you do get three PowerPoints though. Write that down. And keep in mind,
Yeah,
PowerPoints
I
do
wrote
roll
them down.
over. Also, keep in mind, if at any time you guys beat my roll by 5, you get a hero dice of that size, right? Of my effect size. And therefore, if you roll 10 higher than me, you would get 2. That's probably going to be rare.
Mm.
The maximum you could possibly do would be 4, I guess, maybe, but that would be like a miracle roll. But however, you guys keep in that mind because Hero Dice is another resource. Hero Dice are amazing in this game. We haven't had a situation yet, but if you ever roll five more than what you need to beat my roll, you guys get a Hero Dice of that effect, right? And what that means is in this game, all the rolls have to be done before like you just seen me doing them. However, and even plot points won't allow you to do anything extra. You can add another dice. You could that has already been rolled. You can do stuff like that, but you can't roll anything after it's been rolled, unless you have hero dice. Yeah, hero dice can be used at any time you want, at any moment in the scene you want. They're very, very, very handy. So keep that in mind. If you roll 5 higher than what you need, you get a hero dice, and that they are very, very important. It's another resource. However, lady, you rolled a 10, and you tied me. I rolled a 10. Did I roll an 11? It looks like.
You rolled an 11.
Yeah, I rolled
Yeah.
an 11. So you didn't beat me anyway, and you have to beat me. So even if you had rolled an 11, it wouldn't have been good enough. And you did botch, and I gave you 3 dice, but I'm going to spend one of those dice I just got. I'm going to use the 6-sider, and I'm going to put a complication on the table for everybody. This is applying in this scene, lady. So everybody gets a PowerPoint for me doing this. Oh, not everybody. Yeah, no, everybody. That's right, because it's scene wide. So everyone gets a PowerPoint. Write that down. And I did burn a dice out of my doom pool, so I reduced it by one. And right now there's a D6 complication on the table for everybody. And the complication I'm adding is this: there is no service in this area.
So funny.
So it's
No,
just
so
So it's just not working, so you can't interact with the internet. Would anyone like to use just a simple knowledge roll on this if anybody thinks they have a role that could apply?
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
have knowledge,
So
but I don't have anything that's specific about, like what I actually like, because my knowledge is a D8, but then I couldn't apply that secondary thing though. But I could still use that D8 knowledge, or no?
No, no, whatever you have in, I'm gonna have to go back and read it because I thought knowledge you had to pick a specific knowledge, but for right
I
now
thought that was
we'll say no. Yeah, meaning yes, you it just applies to all general knowledge. So you could make the roll. Just take your mental, take a distinction you think it applies, and the D8. You can make a roll.
okay. So it'd be three. It'd be same as last time, 3D8.
Sure. So let
Um.
me go ahead and give you a complicate. Now keep in mind there's a complication on the table of a no cell usage. Now
Oh,
this complication wouldn't apply in this particular role. But as you just saw me add a complication, you guys can spend PowerPoints to add your own advantages or complications for me by using something in the scene. Right now, you guys are standing in the middle of the forest with a weird astronaut on the ground. Right. But for right now, I'm going to make my roll. So let me go ahead and do that. I got 2d6 in my Doom pool and
oh, I did not
2d8
mean to do
in
that.
my Doom pool. So let me go ahead and roll. All right. I am rolling high. So I'm going to call that a 14. I'm going to use a D8 for my effect die.
Okay. And I'll roll my dice. Even though I had a very simple question, but I'll wait.
Okay, you do
As
not
not.
beat me. All right. But no harm, no foul. I do win, so you get a PowerPoint. Now, you guys understand how this works, right? You see how many PowerPoints you're getting? Use them. You see what I meant by
Oh,
being a resource? You can use them, and keep in mind you can use them to add stuff. Because, like, let me give an example. Say we're playing a more of a D&D based thing. You guys are in a dungeon, and you see a sconce on the wall, and you take the torch out of it, right? So you have a light source, so you're automatically going to get light, right? That just kind of differs. But that torch doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't add any mechanical dice. However, if you spent a PowerPoint on that torch, you could add it to certain roles. Maybe you're trying to blind an enemy, or you're trying to burn an enemy, or you're going to just use it as a weapon, what have you. If you spend a PowerPoint, it becomes an asset, and therefore, those assets are automatically D6s. Other assets will be bigger in game, and I'll tell you when they exist. But I think you spend two PowerPoints to make it a D8 asset if you wanted. So you guys can interact with the world and spend a PowerPoint on something to make it an advantage to you or a disadvantage to me. Like, for instance, say a chase was going on. And we're in this. You can see there's a river, a little creek going through here, brook, and you decide to add a complication that the rocks are slippery, ground is slippery, right? Now that's going to hurt you, but it's also going to give me a complication to roll as well. And complications are really simple. Anytime there's a complication and it applies, you add that to your dice pool, or I add it to my dice pool, depending on the situation, right? So that's what complications do. They come in at D6 usually, and they get added to pools. If you guys take damage, you're going to get stress, and that stress, whatever dice it's sitting at, I get to add that to my dice pool when I'm attacking you, and vice versa, right? But anyway, so far you guys don't really know much. It looks definitely like an astronaut, and it's why is it here? And it looks like it's been here forever. And she reiterates that it certainly hasn't, because this is right here in the picnicking and camping area, and people are here all the time, and no one's ever seen it before until 2 days ago. It just appeared.
There's no name tag on it either.
I'm gonna look for a mission patch on the arm.
You do see a mission patch on the arm, and it says the Kraken Project.
And of course, we already rolled to see if we knew anything about any of
Right,
that. So,
which you don't, but there is a nice little interesting Roman numerals under it.
what's the number?
1957.
Okay. It doesn't look like it fell. It looks like it's just been sitting here.
Yep, there's no damage. It's just there's no you see flowers right next to it, right?
No drag marks
No
either.
drags, no burn. It's just here. And it shouldn't be
Yeah.
here. Like I said, you don't really know because you guys haven't been able to make the rolls, but at least by the mission patch, it's 1957, and in the general population's knowledge, were we in space in 1957?
Not until
That's true.
1963.
hmm
Mm.
Unless you were talking about Russians, but that's clearly NASA.
Yeah.
It says NASA.
And it's the
Okay.
old NASA badge too. It's not the 70s or 80s patch. It's the old 60s patch.
Can I look around to see if I maybe see any sort of? I'm assuming there would be through traffic through here.
Oh yeah,
But is there
lots of it.
any? Yeah. Um. Is there any sign of anything of this, like maybe getting dragged into this position, or like a vehicle maybe coming up to this area recently to kind of drop it off?
This is sitting right by a tree, which is why it's so untrodden because it's not directly on the path. But no, this is all footpath back here. You see no vehicle tracks at all. The footpath is well worn, but like she said, this is a very, very frequented area, and that's how. And she was very confident when she said it was not here 2 days ago, past 2 days ago, because there's just people here all the time. These are country people, and they're a little bit inland. They're not sitting on the ocean, right? And this beautiful little creek coming through here, and this beautiful little, it is quite gorgeous, little picnic camping area. People frequent it. They use it all the time. It was not here more than 2 days ago. She's very, very adamant about that.
All right, we should probably uh, take all our proper pictures and everything, and then get it loaded up and brought back to the town.
Okay, lady
Recommend.
has been doing the picture thing.
Yeah.
How do you
And
guys want to go about moving it?
I mean, I could carry it.
You could, or you could
no.
call in a coroner, or you could do
Yeah,
anything.
that's
Call
what
in the
we.
coroner to come. And
Yeah.
then while we're waiting on the coroner, start searching inch by inch on the ground around it and out.
Sure. Well,
Just
give
like
me.
a forensic team.
Yep, absolutely. So give me a forensic roll. Now that would involve mental, probably. It would involve whatever
Yeah.
distinction you think it applies. Maybe notice, or if you have forensics as a specialty or something like that.
No, I don't have forensic as a special.
All right. Well, it's
But
pretty
I
easy though. So
did take there's a reason why I took that.
sure.
That's a D6.
So let me go and let me go ahead and make a roll. Now, keeping this in mind, with Cortex, you don't have to make rolls all the time. And you've seen me not make rolls several times already. This right here, because we're being very nuanced, we definitely need a die. So I'm going to go ahead and roll mine to give her a difficulty.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I got
All
one,
right.
8,
Now,
and 2
hold on a second.
sixes.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
So I have a I'll take a 9 as my difficulty and a D8 as my effect. But because you have to beat my effect if you beat the 9. But I just rolled a 1. Now, you guys have a choice. This is lady only, sorry. Lady, you can either take a PowerPoint. Well, you take a PowerPoint because I rolled a 1. So you get another PowerPoint, lady. But you also have
Okay.
the opportunity to spend another PowerPoint, which you do have. Anytime you gain a
All right.
PowerPoint, you can't use it immediately in the same beat, right? You have to wait
All
around.
right.
But you already have PowerPoints. So you could take a PowerPoint that I just gave you, which you get, but you could apply a PowerPoint to put a complication on me if you wanted, because I rolled a
Well,
1.
don't I already have a complication of a 6
You do. So maybe you put use that PowerPoint to remove my
to
complication.
remove that one,
Yes.
or will it just drop it down to Nick's die?
No,
That's rude.
it does step it down. But to remove a complication on the board, you have to, in this case, you have to spend 2 PowerPoints. But it might be worth it. So like I said, PowerPoints come and go, right? They flow. This is a real resource, you guys. It's not like the other games we played. You should be burning them, you know. So why not spend the 2
Okay,
points
spending 2
and
PowerPoints
all right,
to get rid of the conflict.
right. So you remove the conflict from the board, and
Yes.
therefore, you now are getting service, right? And in getting that service, you're using your technology, and you got pictures of this thing and the patch and stuff like that. And the information that comes up is this: the Project Kraken was a deep state project that was started during the war. And you may or may not have looked into this, but you are now, because you guys do
Mhm.
have access. You keep in mind you have access much more than a normal DOJ or FBI would have. You guys have access to, well, almost anything. You're like triple top secret access, right? All of you, because of who you work for. And the information you've got on this is that. The Americans have been in space since 1942, actually. And the technology they used to get in space was actually gotten from some ancient technology that they found. So suggesting that humanity's been in space long, long, long ago. However, since 1942, the Americans have been in space. And even though that's not what the public knows, and the Kraken project, particularly, was a project searching the caverns of the moon. They were literally sending people up constantly and searching in caverns. And the information you have, you probably have to make a contact back to the department's mission control to get more information. But in some kind of deep file, and you probably get it. But they were looking for something.
So, do we have a missing persons kind of thing for this particular astronaut?
No. Matter of fact, this astronaut has no discerning details on him. He has no name badge. He has no number. He's got the NASA logo on him, and he has the mission badge. That's it.
Oh, we can take dental records when we bring him back to the.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or get
So,
DNA from the bone marrow if there's any left.
Sure.
Yeah,
well,
he's still in the suit, so there should be some left.
DNA evidence from something that was that far back might be a little tricky, but
No,
Okay,
not
well,
really.
they
But
have to
you know,
pee in a tube thing, so there might be still some in the catch pocket.
but you're sure that the techies will want to get a look at it, because
Yeah,
it's
techies are gonna
something
wanna
that
get a
has
look
just
at this.
appeared out of nowhere. It's well out of place. It's also well out of time. Although it does, like I said, the suit is worn, but it doesn't look like it's been sitting in a forest for, 80 years or 60,
Okay, so
70
you're not
years.
making me roll then?
yeah.
Or
No, no,
what
no,
am I
no, no,
rolling?
no need. No need. You
Okay, no
remove
need.
the complication. If you wanted to get more detailed information, you would have to contact Mission Control, and I'd make you make a roll on that. But not necessary. It's not necessary. So
Okay.
anyway, you guys have called the coroner now because you do have that interference is cleared up. So Tower has well, no, not Tower. The deputy, sorry, is called in the coroner as per your request. So Tower, what are you doing?
I'm sitting there looking at the body and inspecting the flowers.
Inspecting the flowers.
Inspecting flowers.
Well, they look pretty.
Does there seem like there's
Anything where the body was?
Well, I'm like I wonder if I should make a roll for this, but I don't think so. I think it's just an obvious observation, Tower. As you're looking at the flowers, you think to yourself, isn't it like November and almost December?
Uh-huh.
Because you look around you, most of the fall foliage is down. There's dead leaves all over the place. You don't. There's no flowers anywhere.
But
I'm gonna pick some of
are
those flowers and put them in my pocket.
Okay,
there are some flowers that do bloom the early winter.
these are
I'm
spring
thinking
flowers, though,
Not many.
lady.
yeah.
Okay.
that I think he's like a time warp or some shit. He just kind of came out of the astral plane. He just
Maybe
appeared.
it's
Well,
possible.
the ground also seems to have some other effect to it as well. It's not just him. So I'm gonna take a sample of some of the flowers and a soil sample as well.
Okay.
Just
Now, keep in mind from the information you've got from the deputy and also the case file, which you looked at, GOP. The nexus itself is 5 miles from here. Like I said, most of the time, a hunter comes across weird shit that report to the police, or it's domestic, meaning in houses in town, or out in the countryside, or what have you. It's like I said, there's what 10,000 some odd people in this town, but you know, this is a very wide county, right? But
Right.
nevertheless, so we're not really near the nexus. And like I said, she said she's never seen anything this far out unless it was in town. And you know by looking at the file, GP, that those are people were low end magical users that were up to shit, doing
yeah.
shit, right?
They're the meth heads of the
Magical world, yeah,
magical world.
that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
it is very bizarre situation.
Well,
Agent
first and
Simmons. Agent Simmons.
Agent Sims, yes. He's
Sims.
quietly just
Sims.
standing there. How
Uh,
how can I help you?
they would normally take the body back to our headquarters by now, wouldn't we?
We probably would make arrangements for that, yes. But
Yeah.
the agency not agency, sorry, the department said told them not to touch it, so they haven't. And of course, you guys just ordered a coroner, so you're assuming someone is being dispatched as we speak. But the normal procedure would be to take this into town, lock it down, and wait for a department recovery team to come and get it. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so contacting Central Control.
Okay, you do.
Any-
You get a dispatcher by the name of Janet Campbell. She
Mrs.
says,
Campbell.
"Yes. How can I help you, Agent?
We are needing a, what did you call it?
A recovery team.
Dispatch a recovery team to our location.
Oh, absolutely. We'll get right on that.
Thank
you
you.
should probably share the files with the
Photos and
office.
things like that. Yeah, she would do that
Yeah,
automatically.
uploading files, pictures of everything we've gotten so far, and
She
then on a
says,
separate file would be the ones from the wall.
okay. And she's like, ooh, that's interesting. I'll pass this along. and we'll contact you when they are in route.
We'll have it in town by then. Okay.
Alrighty. So until the coroner gets here, are you guys doing anything?
Still start around, moving out further and further.
Yeah, we'll do a circle around the perimeter to see if there's anything else. And also see if maybe where the line is of how far out does the change in the foliage. How far out does it look like there's a patch? How big of a patch around the body is different than the rest of the surrounding area?
72 feet radius.
Okay. Hmm.
Put in a report too.
Everybody who has a cult,
Yes.
what are your
I do.
dice? Well, I know you all do. What are your dice in a cult? Tower.
I believe mine were boosted, so
Did you
I
boost
think
your occult?
I believe I did. Like I said, when I'm gonna go back through and rewatch because I knew I had said where all my things were at.
Okay, well,
So
let's
it's at
assume you
least
boosted it
highlighted.
to a D8, highlighted it. Lady, what is your dice in
Mine's
occult?
highlighted, so it's D6.
Okay, and GOP?
1d8 and 2d6.
Okay, so you not only did you boost it, highlight and boost it, you also specialized it. Good man. I'm glad
Well,
someone did that. No,
no,
thank you
I
very
mean
much.
my whole roll. So my occult itself. So I was just throwing all three of them together. My occult itself is only a 6. It's not anything special. So you can take back that good man.
Well, I thought
And
you just said it was a D8 with a specialty that gave it an extra D6.
no. Okay, no. I was throwing my mental ability, my magical lineage,
No,
and then
no,
my
no, no, no,
occult.
no. A
Yeah,
cult, just a
yeah.
cult.
Yeah,
That's
it's just a D6.
well. Then I'm going to say shame on all of you. One of you
Yes.
should have something more specialized in a cult, and we'll say it's
Well,
Tower
okay.
Okay.
because he's in
Powers are
limbo.
special.
So Tower, not only do you have a D8 in the occult, you also specialized in something, either demonology or maybe magical histories or something like that. What is your specialty?
We'll say demonology.
Okay, demonology. Not only do you have a D8 in it, you also have an extra D6 to those kind of rolls that apply, and this applies. So give us a roll there. Actually, no, you don't even need a roll. What am I talking about? You hear that number because you guys are measuring it out and taking a look and stuff like that. If you guys don't have those kind of measuring equipment on you, which you should, you guys are a forensics team, right? You should have all that kind of basic forensics on you. Sims certainly has a bag full of those kind of things. But nevertheless, 72 foot radius pops in your head. That is a sexosimal number. That is an occult number.
Oh, hey y'all, 72 feet. There you go.
Yeah, that was great. That was really articulate.
Very descriptive.
Very good job. Good job, Tower. All right.
Yeah, well, best there
So
ever was.
some kind of weird magic is definitely involved, especially being sexosimal and not metric. Because, well, I'm not going to get into actual historical theories, but sexosimal consider that to be old magic, even pre-human. Metric is a very human-based math system, right? But sexosimal stuff or six-based is the world of magic. So. Anyway, 72 is important. But okay, you guys just doing your thing, and the coroner shows up.
Check the
And
tree too. No one's checked the tree, have they? Look up in the tree.
you guys are checking all of it. You
Okay.
said you were searching the area, right? Nothing
Okay.
out of the ordinary other than this freaking astronaut from 1958 or 57, I forget what I said, sitting on the
57.
ground and surrounded by a 70-foot radius of flowers that should not exist in this environment right now. Nevertheless, the coroner shows up. And there are two men in a rather old-looking coroner wagon. Actually, it's not a modern vehicle. The thing's probably 30 years old. But
Probably looks like a hearse then.
It probably, well, it's not that old, but just little town budgets, right? And
Yeah.
you have, of course, you have a young dude and an old dude, and they come up and they walk up to it and they take a look and they kind of nod their head at all of you. They don't really say anything. The old man says, "Newton." And they proceed to take. They got a body. The young one has a body bag, and he lays it on the ground. And they go to start to move it into the body bag. As soon as they touch it, which no one has done yet, which I find very interesting,
Mhm.
nobody touched it, but they do. As soon as they touch it, the old man's reflexes are, wow, you're impressed. That dude is alert and he moves out of the way. The young dude, not so much. And he gets eaten
What the
Eaten.
fuck? Eaten.
by that.
Oh,
Okay. Hang on. I don't see it yet. So
well, that's.
Oh shit.
I'm glad we didn't touch it.
Well, it's in play now, but anyway, it literally bites its head off, rips it off, and devours it right in front of you as this skeletal astronaut comes to life and begins to stand with writhing tentacles coming out of its helmet. And I need to show this for the crew, for everybody to see. Get off that dice page. Sorry, I forgot to. I have to remember not to leave that up for the YouTubers viewing. But this thing is now up, and it's just voraciously attacking anything near it, which includes you.
So, anyways, I stopped blasting.
That would be it. So now in this game, I'm not using the mods for initiative per se. Instead, what I'm going to do for initiative is just base it upon your total count of your physical and mental, and if you have any skill that applies directly to initiative, which you may or may not have. So tell me, Tower, if you add your mental and your physical together, what number do you get?
14.
14. Okay. And what number do you get, GLP?
For mental and physical, 18.
18. 18. Wow, nice. Lady,
16.
16. And does anybody have a skill that would apply, like a move skill or something like that, that's specialized in combat moves or something like that? You probably don't, but you never know. You might.
I have slot.
Mm,
Try to slide my way out of it, or fleet. I believe. I believe the word was fleet earlier.
Ah, yes, you did have take that in your description. Therefore, you get to add that distinction. How nice. Good job, Tower. There was a
Well,
fleet in there. I remember that. A fleet wilderness commander. That's what it was.
we figured it out.
Yeah, no, fleet. So that's perfect. So you get to add that dice to your initiative as well. And what is that dice number under that distinction? Well, we said it was a D8. So that adds onto add your physical, mental, and dice all together. What do you got?
We said fleet wilderness. What now?
Fleet
I
wilderness commander. That's what you had chosen. I remember. But anyway,
Yep.
what's the total? What's the total?
Well, that's 8. That's 8. 16, 17, 18, 19, 22.
So 22. So all of you on your paper write down initiative and write down that number next to it. It never changes unless you spend points in growth to change it.
Okay.
All
The
right?
total of
so
22 or just the number that we each got?
No, he's got a 22. Your number's
Oh,
different.
okay. Okay.
What's
All
your
right.
number? It was
okay.
like 18 or something you said.
Yeah, it'd be 18. I don't think my tough CQB warrior
No,
would be
like I
involved.
said, most
But
people
I
don't get adds to
have
it. Most don't.
uh
Yeah. Okay.
military wilderness survival, but
It doesn't
that
apply.
doesn't really
Yeah, it
count.
doesn't apply. You
Yeah,
have to be
it's
very specific. And that's all right.
So
That's all right. Most people
mine will
don't.
be 16.
But he
mhm.
specifically is a fleet person. He chose to do that. So,
Okay.
lady, you write down 16. So these are your initiatives.
Got
We
it.
don't have to roll them; they just exist. You can see here with the character sheet I put up, which I like it. I love the way Cortex does this. Look how easy that is for me to make a creature. Now I can make something as complicated as your characters, and I will. But just for a little encounter creature, look at that. Look how easy that is, dude. It's so nice. But you beat him, everybody except for Lady, who goes at the same time. So we start with Tower. Tower, this thing is charging at you guys. The tentacles are writhing out, and you just saw it literally crunch and devour a young man's head. What are you doing, Tower?
I reach from my back pocket. I whip out my 44 Magnum revolver,
Okay.
and I say, "Damn, that's a nasty hoe!" And I shoot him in the face.
Wow. You never play your character as they're written. You know that, right?
Oh, it's
I
it's
get-
always just him.
He's a
It's not.
45-year-old fleet wilderness commander with all kind of other knowledges and stuff. He's like, "Take that, hoe." Huh? Are you
Yeah,
a pimp from the
he's
1970s?
Yes, he is reincarnated.
Oh shit!
Anyway, go
great.
ahead. Now, we're doing combat here, so we're gonna have to put a dice pool together. So let me bring that up real quick so we can look at the dice. So Tower, of course, is going to be under physical. You'll choose one of your distinctions, which they're all a D8 as we stand, and then you're going to add any skill and assets you might have. So, what's your dice pool look like? Now, in this situation is combat, so contest. So therefore, you guys roll first, I roll second, right?
Okay, so I'm going to add my physical, correct?
Right. A D8
So
from your
that
distinction, which you certainly have several that apply.
a D6, a D8. I believe with my revolver, I had double stepped it up.
Okay,
So
well,
I
we're going to
had,
get to that in a minute. We're going to get to that in a minute. One thing at a time. So we got a D6 for a physical. We have a D8 for a distinction. What skill are you using? Shooting, I would imagine.
yep, shooting. I had it double or triple. I had shooting like pretty high up there.
Okay, so let's say you pump it up to a D10, let's say, and therefore you probably put a specialization in that, so add another D6, and then you have your asset, which you had bumped up, so it's a D8. You get all that?
2D6, 2D8, 1D10.
Yep. Roll them. All right, here we go. No ones. Very nice. You have a D10 there as an effect die, which, keep in mind in combat, the effect dies are very important. So you might want to take those two eights and put them together and make that 16 and use the D10 as the effect die, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna do that because they
yeah.
just disappeared off the screen.
Well, no. I'm just saying that you don't always necessarily take the highest number because you need to put an effect on it. An effect die of D10 is nice, and we'll see how that steps up right here. Because in combat in Cortex, it could take a long time or it could be over really quick, right? It just depends on how it goes. So using the D10 is definitely the smart thing to do. So you rolled a 16. So I'm going to go ahead and roll my dice to see if I can beat that. All right. And we're looking at 16. So probably I would have to roll amazingly to be able to beat it. And I don't. I would probably, with this roll, I would take the D6 3 and the D8 8, put it together to be 11. And save the effect die as an 8. But that doesn't matter because I failed. And my effect die doesn't overwhelm either, even if I had succeeded. So therefore, this is what happens. You're using some kind of gun. What you're using a special asset, you said. What is it?
A 44 Magnum.
A 44 Magnum, which is it's your signature asset, right? Um,
Yeah.
uh, uh, not your power thing, but your signature asset. Nice, very nice. It's gold plated with ivory handles, maybe. Hmm.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
has
yeah,
it It has the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed scribed onto the handle.
Well, you went all El Chapo on it. Very nice. All right. You take a blast, and a huge chunk of the helmet and the side of the tentacled face just blow off and fall on the ground, still squirming on the ground. Huge damage. Now, what this means is that now there's a D10 stress complication on the table for this creature. So every time you guys roll your dice, you add that D10 to it. Now, keep in mind, when you're doing damage to this, if you successfully beat me in the roll, you must have an effect die that is equal to or greater than that is already on it. So, say you successfully hit it, but you only have a D6 for your effect die, nothing's going to happen to this creature. You have to put at least a D10 effect die up to get it. Now, keep in mind, once it steps up to D12, you of course get a D12 complication dice, stress die. And once it goes past D12, meaning if you roll and use the D12 as effect, it's dead. Simple, right? So right now it's taking big damage. A D10 stress dice is no joke. GOP.
Oh, this is going to be very OP.
Yeah.
Because I am built for guns. Okay, so I'll go piece by piece so we can get it all figured out.
Yeah, we're still learning, so please do so. And keep in
All right,
mind,
so
there is definitely combat in this game, but unlike other games, guys, leaning into the combat so much could come back to bite you in the ass.
true. That's why I'm kind of trying to be balanced out with the sleuth side of it. The more detective aspect,
Sure.
especially.
Well, go ahead. Let's see what you got.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to use a special effect. My headshot, so it ups my warrior distinction, but it lowers my sleuth for a scene.
Sure, go ahead.
So that'll increase that to a D12.
Yes, you
And
don't
then
have to spend a PowerPoint for that, right?
no,
Okay,
there's no
that's right,
PowerPoint. Just
because
it,
of the mental reduction. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so that's a 1D12. I get another D12 for my shooting skill.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna go down based off of the D whatever.
You get a
My
distinction.
ability. Yeah, no. My distinction is a D12 because of that SFX
Oh, I see.
Eagle Eye.
And what is your physical?
My physical is a D10.
Okay.
There's gonna be a lot of dice for this, so yeah, my okay. Let me go over this. So my uh warriors distinction is a D12. My guns is a D12, so it's 2D12 right there. My physical is a D10. So and then what was the that was a D8 on him, right?
D10. A D10.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so 2D12, 2D10, and then I've got a D8 for my signature weapon, and I have 2D6. Or actually 1D6. So yeah, that's gonna be 2D12, 2D10, a D8, and a D6. Okay, it's a lot. Sorry, I had to figure all that out real quick. Okay, so
You know, lost
2D12.
me, so go ahead.
All right, 2D10, a D8, and a D6. I'm gonna roll those.
See, we got 7 die in play. Interesting.
Nine, nine,
I
six,
would.
eight.
I'm going to make my roll, but that D12 would be really nice, or at least that
Oh,
for an
I'm
effect
going to
die.
use my lower D12
Yeah.
as the effect
So
die,
what's your
and
total?
then the total is going to be because I think both those D10s are sixes from where the dot is at. So
No, those are nine.
oh, they're
Well,
nines.
we have
Oh,
an 8, a 5, 2 nines, and 2 sixes. So obviously you take the 2 nines and use the
yeah.
5 D12. So that is an 18. Damn. No
Yep.
ones for me. Oh well.
Lucky.
Okay. And you guys, no,
Four,
not you guys.
four.
GOP, you gain a PowerPoint because I rolled a 1. And you may spend a PowerPoint to put a complication on me if you would like.
Okay.
I fail my
Oh, did
roll.
I get a hero point? Did I get a hero point for that? Because
I do believe so. So I am going to choose that to be an 11. You rolled an 18, which is 7 over. So you get a hero dice. And the hero dice is a d6, which is what I'm keeping as an effect die. Therefore, because I didn't roll a 1. That was a 7. I do apologize. So there's no 1. You don't get that PowerPoint. I apologize. But
okay,
you do get a PowerPoint. I mean a hero dice, and that is a
okay,
D6. So write that on your sheet. Hero dice D6, and you can use that at any time. At any time.
mm,
And that is, we might not understand it right now, but that is incredibly powerful, right? Because we always have to do our dice rolling in time. Even if we remember, you could spend PowerPoints to add dice. Like for instance, you could have added, spent a PowerPoint and added that 8 into it, and would have given you another hero dice, by the way. You could have spent a PowerPoint to do that, to add that extra die in, but it was already rolled, right? A hero die
yeah,
can be rolled after the fact. So keep that in mind. You get a D6 that you can apply anytime you like. That's how it works. So keep in mind, though, because you had so many dice and you rolled so high, it might have been worth a PowerPoint right there to add that 8 to give you potentially more hero dice, right?
yeah.
And
That's
that
a
would have
good
give
point.
you a D8 because the other die that would have come out of that would have been a D8, which I wouldn't have used. So that would have been the one you got. So you right now you'd be sitting on a D6 and a D8 hero dice. See how that works? But
Yeah.
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 Okay, I'll spend
Well,
I'll
no,
spend a
we're
PowerPoint.
past it now. I'm just saying,
Oh, we're past.
keep
Okay.
in mind that when you're doing those kind of things, when you have a lot of dice and they roll high like that, you might want to spend that PowerPoint to give your self a chance to get a hero dice. Because you can spend hero points to do things. You can spend a hero point, for instance. Let's say we're in a situation where 2 of your distinctions could apply, right? So you could spend a PowerPoint when you're making your dice pool to add both of those distinctions dice. Simple enough. Say you're in a situation where you could either use mental or physical. You could spend a PowerPoint to add them both. Skills you can do like that. You can spend them in time.
Yeah.
Not only can you use it to say, all right, well, I got a bunch of dice. I'm going to spend a PowerPoint to add a third dice to my total. And then I'm going to spend another PowerPoint to add 2 effect die, which
Okay.
would
I
you
just
could
thought.
step it up. I mean, that's how you spend PowerPoints in this game, right?
Okay. I just thought because before you were saying I could spend a point to hinder you right in your next roll.
Well, you could do that. Well, no, because yeah, but I thought I had rolled a 1, but it's actually a 7. I misread it. But you could, when I roll a 1, you guys can either take an opportunity, which means you could reduce a level of stress on you, or you can remove a complication or what have you, or you can give me trouble, right? By adding a complication dice to me. You can do that when I roll a 1, or you could do it at any time by just spending PowerPoints to use. That's gaining assets, though. It's not the same. But I'm just saying, like for instance, right now, GOP, how many PowerPoints you sitting on?
3.
3. Tower, what are you looking at?
Uh, I was looking at the Discord page.
No,
What
Yeah.
how
they
many
No.
PowerPoints have
No.
you written down on your paper, Tower?
I've had one.
Well, so you're not paying
Okay.
attention, Tower.
You should have had one from the first game, and then whatever you got from this game. So at least one more. So you should have
Oh,
at
You
least
should at
2.
least have 2. Yeah, I think Lady has the
I
most. Lady, what
I
are you
have
looking at
4.
for? Yeah, yeah, I thought Lady had the
4.
most. Yeah,
Because I've
But
got
I had
3.
spent some too, so
yeah. I'm just saying
I
that this is how
yeah,
you spend PowerPoints in the game. Yes, Tower?
yeah. No, that's my bad. I forgot we got one for getting stabbed on the first game.
Yeah, well, no, it's not even that. You got them for things that happened in this game. You really need to mark your resources, Tower. You need to keep track of them. Okay. Anyway, that brings us down to so
it
those two
and
gone.
me.
You and me now because of this game always favors the GM in this
Okay.
regard. You have to beat me, not tie me. So I go first, and then you go. Okay,
Okay.
that's like the one of the very few advantages the GM gets in this game in that regard, because most of the time it leans toward the player. But when it comes to dice rolling, you have to beat me, not tie me. So I go first, and this thing is now sitting at a D12 effect die on it. So his shot. What are you using for a weapon, by the way, GOP?
Uh, I have an MP5.
You have an okay. You hit this thing in its left arm, and it was a perfect shot. Hit the elbow, and it's dangling. It seems like the only thing that's keeping the arm attached is the suit, right? And this
Mhm.
thing lets out a horrific siren scream at the damage. But it's sitting on a D12 stress, which means all their rolls they get to add a D12 complication to their dice pool. And if any of them apply a 12 next time, or if Lady does it here in a moment, and they beat the score, it's dead. Right? That's very simple the way stress works in the game. So this thing is desperate, and it's going to lunge at Tower GOP Lady. And make a roll. Tower. Okay. So Tower, this thing is lunging at you with its tentacles to take a bite. So it's going to get a D12. It's going to get the D6, the two D6s, plus it's burning its power point, which they all start with one. It's burning its power point to reduce it's mental, and it's applying that PowerPoint in a step up, and that step up is going to be to its frenzy. So I'm going to roll a d6. A d12, a d6, and a d8 is what I'm going to be rolling this round. So let me jump back over to the dice roll for this creature, and I can choose to take Doompull dice out and add it to my roll if I want. It gets its own separate pool, but I could add if I chose to. So do I want to do that? Hmm. I've only got 4 sitting here. I think I'll save them. I won't use a dice right now. So I'm just going to roll his standard abilities. And this is what I'm going to get on Tower. Now that
Oh,
that is definitely a 1. Okay, so Tower, you
You get a
get a
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint. Tower, please write it
Yep.
down. Right?
I'm at
You get a PowerPoint. I have no affected dice to apply at all, so I get a D4, and I rolled a 10. Now you can, if you want, you could add a hindrance to me, a complication to me if you want to spend your own PowerPoint. But this thing is pretty trash. You probably don't want to waste your time. But nevertheless, roll your dice to oppose me. And this is going to be simple combat. So physical, one of your distinctions that apply, which they're all D8, and we know that the commander one would apply, survivor. So that's a D8. And then any skill you have in combat. Now, this thing
which
is
would be
attacking you in melee, so this is not shooting. This is in fight. So what is your
fight.
dice in fight? We don't have it. So let's say you probably put a point in it. So let's say it's a D6. So go ahead and roll 2d8 and a D6.
and
You
then
mean
doesn't
it's
he have the
2D?
12 as well for him
And of
being?
course the 12. Yeah, because it has a stress complication. So roll 2d8, 1 6, and a D12. Go ahead.
Oh, I hit the wrong one. Fuck. Okay. 2D6, a D8, and a D12.
No, 2d8,
No,
a D6, and a D12.
Well, I'm rolling for my physical, not my mental. So
Oh, I'm
if
sorry. I'm sorry. You're right.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm not trying to give you too much of an advantage, Chester.
No, that's fair. I forgot that you were more socially based. All right, so no ones, so that's good. You definitely keep that over there because I'm attacking, so you're responding. You got an 11, which is more than my 10. You beat me, and you can use the D12 as your effect die, right? So you beat me, and you have the effect die to apply. Therefore, you come in, and the thing tries to attack you. You kind of ward it off. You're a gun guy, so you probably use the gun either to slap at it or just shoot it. We'll say you shot at it, right? And you hit it square in the middle of the face. Tentacles just fly off. The back of the helmet explodes out. There's black ichor blood all over the suit, all over the tree behind it, and this thing flops to the ground dead.
Now that's what I call bad calamari.
Yes, I would say so. But so there we go. We got our first combat experience. Do you guys? What do you think?
I like it.
Simple, pretty streamlined.
It is streamlined. It's very straightforward.
Twiddling my
And
thumbs.
what was that, lady?
Twiddling my thumbs.
Well, yeah,
I
you
didn't
didn't
do
get it.
nothing.
You didn't get it. You didn't get a chance on it because
That's all right.
that's all right. But then again, in this game, more so than other games, so many games are combat heavy, and that's fine. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. This game, as you use the word streamlined, GOP, I think it is very streamlined in every way. As you can see with the dice pools we make, any roll is equally important and equally stressed. Combat is not the beginning and the end of this game. It is not. A simple hacking roll or a forensics or a search roll or what have you, they apply at the same kind of intensity that combat does. And they're equally important. And if your characters lean too much, say, into combat, sure, you're going to be good at that and you'll walk through shit. But you might suck at other things that you really need to be good at. I like that
See,
about this game.
if I had got to do my turn, I was going to use that ability, the force construct, to put a net around it, and it says, "Should we be capturing it alive?"
Yeah, no.
Asking my
There,
supervisor, but
there you
that
go.
didn't give
No,
me
I
a
mean
chance.
that's a choice. There are more ways than one to skin a cat, right? I mean, you don't always have to just obliterate everything. I'm just saying this game. I think is so. It's one of the reasons why so many old school DMs love this system. I think because it really balances itself out in a beautiful way. But nevertheless, this creature is dead on the ground. All of the twitching has basically stopped. The tentacles are still there. Of course, you don't know what's going on internally inside that suit because the suit is still basically intact. There's a couple holes in it, but the creature inside of it is certainly done. And the coroner is he doesn't seem to be too shook by it. Although you notice that although he didn't do anything, he does have a revolver out and he is in a proper stance to use it. The other younger deputy is too far away to have he probably heard something. He might be on his way.
Oh,
He's
shit,
too
his
far away to
blinker.
be involved. The other deputy, our girl here, Deputy Pauls, is losing her shit. And Sims, who is there with you, his hand is on his holster that is inside his jacket, but he did not draw. But he's not shook though. But Deputy Pauls is absolutely shook, and she actually starts cussing. And
All right.
goddamn job, and just she's pissed off.
Taking more pictures and upload them to the sender.
Yeah, sure, that's
Main
fine.
control.
That's fine. The coroner kind of comes over. Let's see who he'll go up to Tower because Tower ended it. He comes over to Tower and he says, "Is it dead yet?"
I say I'm not sure, and I proceed to shoot it one more time.
I'm standing over there by it. You're going to shoot it?
She better back up.
Okay.
Taking pictures first.
I shoot it one more time just to make sure it's dead.
Sure. And it is out of commission. So the deputy's losing her shit. The old man kind of nods his head at you and he says, I could use a hand. Look, talking to you, Tower. So do you help him out?
I don't do tentacles, but I'll grab the feet.
That's fine. So you and the old coroner puts this thing in a body bag first. He goes and grabs another body bag and puts the young guy in the body bag. And Tower's
I'm
helping
sorry
him
for your
out.
loss.
Well, that's very nice. Although he doesn't seem to be shook at all. But
No, he
you're
didn't.
dealing with collecting evidence and getting it back to headquarters, right? That's what you're
All right.
doing, lady. GOP,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
You should
Um,
calm him back down.
they got all right. So they got him in the body bag already. I'm collecting whatever samples I see around. You know, anything that might have
GOP,
dropped off.
there is a deputy who is losing her shit.
Or shit.
I am not a people person at all. So
Well,
I
you
look
got
over at Sims and I say, "You handle that." And I
He
look over
nods
at.
his head, and you notice he's not shook, but he is alert.
Mm-hmm.
He's seen some shit, but that was weird. He goes over and he
something
does
new.
try to calm her down. That is his job. Tower also, I kind of enlisted him, but normally Tower would handle those kind of things. That's what his character's built for. But he goes over and he talks to her. He tries to calm her down, and he successfully does so. And after all of this basic activity goes on, the other deputy finally does get up here from coming up, and he's weirded out by it, and she's calm enough to say, "Go back to your post." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yes, ma'am," and he goes running back. Now, she is after all this has been packed up and all that kind of stuff, um, and the coroner's getting ready to leave. She's been calmed down enough by Sims to have a conversation. What do you want to do?
Oh, me?
No,
You're the
I'll,
you,
social guy.
all three of you. What do you want to do?
uh, I'm,
I'm not the social one here. I should not be talking to her because I'll say something like an asshole. So
Well, no, it's Tower's job. Tower is the face man in this group.
fuck, this is gonna be a fun
Well,
campaign.
you built your character that way.
mhm.
Oh man, I'm talking to the deputy who was real shook up, correct?
She's been calmed down by Sims, though.
Okay. I look at her and I say, "Don't worry, everything's gonna be all right." We don't even know what that was, but we're gonna find out. Get to the bottom of it.
And
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 we
you
killed.
realize this whole thing is confidential.
Yes, you saw nothing.
she says, "I know that."
I do this John Cena. Oh my god, no, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, Tower, think about it, right? You have this
Yeah,
weird thing happening that just happened. You guys dealt with it. It's your first mission out, but you've been well trained. A decade is not nothing, right? But she's your local contact. Why is it here? How is it here? She's your local contact.
do you know who NASA is?
Oh my god.
Do I know who's what?
Do you know what?
Oh my god.
That's so bad.
Say it
Do you
again.
know he
Tower,
asked if
do
she
you
knew
know
what
who NASA
NASA was?
Holy fuck, Tower. He's got me cussing now, GOP.
I can't breathe.
Oh my god.
The National Aeronautics and Space Agency, NASA.
His character was asking her if she knew
knew what
what
NASA was?
NASA was.
Well, she's a backwoods Hicks deputy. Who knows?
Oh,
No, no. Oh, god damn it, Tower. Come on, Tower. You can do this. You can do this, Tower. What question should you be asking her?
Has any weird phenomenons like this
Her
happened?
entire life. We've already established this, Tower. Her entire life, weird shit's been going on in this town. And as she's been working, as you see, she's 30 something. She's probably been in the police department for 10, 12 years. Her entire career has seen weird shit. We've already established that.
Well, then why does this weird shit freaked her out?
Because that was really over the top. Usually she's dealing with things that are already done and dead. This thing was alive. But that's not the question, though, Tower. She is your local contact. What question should you be asking her? Think like a detective, please.
Fuck, I don't know what to ask her.
Why wouldn't you? Think about it. What would you do in this situation? Something weird just happened that you have no idea about the town or the people in it. The person who knows is her. So what do you ask?
I'd probably want the records for the different weird shit that's happened lately.
We've already looked at that.
Okay. Well,
We've also established that there's a lot of low rent magical wielders that show up here, and vagrants and stuff like that, that come in and out of this town because of the broken nexus. It's not important enough for any big time magical user to come in here. But for little dudes, little hedge wizards and witches and stuff like that, they will flock to it. And all the stuff that happens here is either something weird in the woods near the nexus that a hunter finds, or some domestic, meaning something people mess around with magic in town. We already did I not establish that? Did I forget something, GOP?
You're talking to 90 Windows 98 here, Chester.
Yeah, but
okay.
It's logical. It's just a logical deduction. What question would you ask?
Ask her about the Nexus. Why
GOP,
is it drawing
GOP, slap this bitch and help me out.
I don't know what he wants me to ask him, GOP.
Say boss. Say boss. I thought Tower was the boss. Who's the boss?
Nobody's
he's a
the
social
boss here. You guys aren't the boss.
Nobody's the boss.
Yeah, you're a team.
What were you going to ask Tower?
Say, Tower, why don't you ask her if any witches live near here, if she knows any?
Oh my God. Take a PowerPoint for that, lady. Thank you. Take one.
Take one. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna get you guys loaded in PowerPoints. Don't you worry.
Yeah, he's gonna help you out. But no, Tower. In this situation, you're as a detective. We want to know who could be responsible for this. It's at least a place to start, right? We don't really know what's going on yet, but we know that there are these kind of lower level wizardly people that show up here. We know this already. So who does she know that she thinks would be a source of information for that? Because who do we go to? Who do we talk to? We got nothing. We got this creature that just attacked us. We have nothing else. So we're going to have to investigate. And therefore, that means talking to people. Right?
Yeah.
That's what police, detectives, and FBI and all that is what they mainly do. They talk to people. That's their main thing.
I don't want to split the group.
You shouldn't. There's no reason for you to do that at all.
Right.
There's zero reason.
But once the body has been goes back to central control, we can go to the closest house from here.
No, that is not the right choice. No, it's not.
Okay.
The question.
We've already hold on a second, GOP. We've already called in a recovery team. Matter of fact, lady, in all this information you've been transferring back to I can't remember the girl's name, but the dispatcher, she tells you that the recovery team is on site. So by the time the coroner, he's already left, already said that. By the time he gets back there, they're going to have it and they're going to gate that thing out of here. So that's already done. Okay. It's already done. Which is one of the reasons why the organization uses the gating system. It allows them to move very quickly when they need to. And this is something that needs to be contained, obviously. So that's done. You guys did the right job. You get it right. By the way, everybody take 3 experience points.
Okay, cool.
And who got the kill shot? It was Tower, right?
Tower.
Tower gets an additional 1.
So
Um,
we should be at 7 and Towers at 8.
yeah, yeah, and you guys, in the book, it shows you exactly how you can spend your experience points. It's very straightforward. They are sets of 5, I
Oh,
think.
does?
It
Okay.
does, yes. Just go to the
I'm gonna have to
milestones
look
and go
at that.
down the bottom and look at the cost of stuff. It's like 5 for like D6 levels and 10 for. It's all laid out. Just apply it, and you probably by the end of today, you probably have enough to raise one thing.
Okay, so Tower. Now
So
that you know the question to ask the lady the question.
yeah,
Are there any witches about that could be responsible?
she says, "Well, I don't know about responsible. Who knows? We try to keep a tally on them, but it's very difficult because they come and go. But we do have one resident who's been here for, wow, longer than I've been alive, I think. But he will cooperate with the police and we can talk to him. I doubt he's involved, but he might know something. And his name is Mordecai Temple.
Okay, now where does this Mordecai live, or where can we find him?
She gives you an address. It's about 7 miles from here.
Okay, do we have a car?
You have her car.
Nope.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's.
We're gonna take her car.
Okay.
y-
Uh,
Yeah, that's all.
so you guys pile in. This scene has been recovered and everything's done. You pile in her vehicle, and she drives into the on the other side of the town. But she's not. You're not too far out of town. It's enough out of town to be considered out of town, but barely. Okay. And it's a pretty normal house set back from the road a little bit. You notice as you guys are coming up, there are some trees that are obviously artificially magically enhanced. You can see it. And they're unnatural. There are wind chimes and symbols on the front of the house that are very runic in nature. Even the mailbox has runes on it. And you guys drive up, and she ain't getting out of the goddamn car. She's gonna do her job, but she's kind of done. And Sims says he'll stay with her. Of course, once again, he's more of a contact. He's not really the on the ground agent. You are. But you see this house in front of you, and you guys walk up. I'm assuming, and do what?
Knock on the door.
Yeah, there you go, Tower. There you go. That's how we want that. You knock on the door. A man comes to the door and he answers it. And his name is Mordecai Temple.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. Now Mordecai is he's got some damage on him and some years on him, but he doesn't look like he's more than 40s or 50s. But like I said, uh, he's probably a lot older than that from her description. He looks at you and he's like, "Yeah,
Hello there, sir. We're investigating a dead astronaut body we found in the woods. We some clues have led us here.
agency, huh? All right, come on in."
I'm gonna do the
We,
head signal GOP to come in.
yeah, we walk in.
He looks back over as he's kind of leading you into his place, and he says, "I'm assuming you do have a badge."
I do.
Flash the badge.
So you do. You have a DOJ badge. I'll
Yeah.
flash him mine. Just
Okay.
because.
He
Yeah.
says, "Ah, you guys are Dove. All right. Oh, well, I am flattered. Please have a seat." As he kind of brushes off some drying sage he had laying on the couch, and puts it over to the side. And he says, "Please have a seat." And he sits on a stool. His kitchen and living room are kind of connected. And he's got that little kind of center counter that separates the two. And he's sitting on a stool on that. And he's like, "Yeah, all right. What can I do for you?"
You're GOP. You want to ask him a few questions?
Uh, I mean, I can but I have no social skills. Remember that. So if
Uh,
it's a challenge,
I'll
yeah.
back you up mentally.
that's not how that works. But
You can have someone help you in a situation, and it gives you a step up on dice. Is how it works.
okay.
That's how
No,
teamwork works in its steps. So if all three of you are doing something together, whoever's making the main roll would get 2 steps to the die, right?
who has the highest social dice here? Then it would be Tower, right?
He does. Would be
You
Tower.
do have the
To
highest.
the effect die, actually. Sorry, but it doesn't matter. Go ahead and ask your question, GOP,
Okay.
or answer
Yes.
his question. Really,
What was his question again? I'm sorry, I was kind of distracted by our
what can I
conversation.
do for you?
Oh, okay. As my associate here said, we kind of looking into a murder right now. Well, something strange going on around here. You wouldn't happen to know anything about a body being dumped recently, would you?
2 days ago, I've heard the chatter. And he kind of on this counter, he's got as you can see in the picture, there's a lot of magical gear, right? And herbs and candles and all kind of stuff. There's also a crystal ball right there, and he says, "Yeah, 2 days ago," and he taps it as he said so.
Did you see anything?
Nope.
I am not the one to make this roll, but Tower, maybe you can make a roll to see if he's lying to us.
I'm gonna do a
You don't need a
wood.
roll in this situation. This guy is being very straightforward. He hasn't done or said
Okay.
anything that seems untoward.
Okay.
Beyond your
You
abilities. So your
Okay.
abilities in this game, your abilities dictate when a roll happens. Your abilities are high enough that you would know that. So there's no need to roll it.
okay? That's fine.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know if anyone around here is, and might have any knowledge about what happened?
Yeah, probably.
Well,
Could
who
have.
might that be, sir?
Well, sitting here talking to a bunch of dove agency. I don't get that. That's only happened, what, 3 times in my life? What's in it for me?
I have some flowers in my pocket.
He looks down on the counter and there's flowers everywhere.
Yeah.
Those specific flowers.
He takes a big toke on whatever weird hemp a cigarette he's smoking on.
Can I ask him for a light for my cigar?
Oh my.
No, you can't. Lady, what were you trying to say? You can,
Is
actually.
it
He'll
the
give you
type
a
of
light, sure.
is okay? I'm using my perception in social, unfortunately. Looking at the flowers that are around because he mentioned flowers and comparing them to the pictures that I have of the flowers
Oh, you
that
mean
were
you have information
around.
to show him? That would be great. Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Show him it.
you know a lot about herbs and stuff around here. Um, pull up a picture off on my phone. Like, do you know what kind of flowers these are?
Puts his hand out to take it.
Huh?
He puts his
She
hand
had it
out
in
to
the
take
phone.
the phone.
Yeah. I'm assuming she
Yeah,
had it in the phone.
hands him the phone and
All right.
it like
He immediately
take his
starts flicking
picture.
past it on the pictures.
She takes the thing back. I was
Are
just
you
asking
going
about
to go and
flowers.
assault him? Are you going to assault him?
No,
All right.
I'll just
So
grapple
he's
my
just
phone
doing
back.
what he's doing. He's not breaking your phone. He's looking at other pictures. He says, "Why in the hell would you ask me about flowers?" Yeah, this is
You should know a lot
this is
about
some kind of
flowers.
abysmal transfer. Yeah, I doubt the people who did this even knew this happened. Goddamn gateways.
Considering
Now, this
so you're
guy,
claiming
hold on a
witches
second,
from
lady.
somewhere
Hold on
else?
a second, lady. I'll give you a second in a minute. This guy, you can tell just by the way he's speaking and acting, his magical ability is nowhere near what your guys is as far as because innate abilities you would assume, right? You don't really know, but you don't get that vibe off of him. His occult knowledge is probably double yours or more.
Okay.
Plus, he's got who knows how many years of experience. So this guy's a knowledge of this is way, way beyond you, right? This is a information dump character, right? So what were you trying to say, lady?
So you believe this was practitioners from out of town came
No,
here
they're
to
not
try to
out of
do
town. I know
information?
exactly who did this. The dumbasses. They're always meddling in shit they don't understand. But that's not the point. I know who you want to talk
Mm.
to. What are you going to pay me?
I have some more flowers in my pocket.
Oh my!
God damn it, Tower. Come on, be serious, dude. Tower.
Oh man.
Okay, during our training, were we ever given information about this?
What do you mean?
About buying information from contacts?
Of course you pay contacts. Of course. That is
Then we know.
standard
Then
procedure.
we'll
Yeah.
offer him the standard
Have
amount.
you
Then
not ever watched a movie?
No, I play video games.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, of course,
GOP new rule.
do we?
Your new
Yeah.
GOP new rule. You are always the face man.
Oh,
he
You-
is going to burn you bad.
oh man. Like I don't
Yeah.
mind playing it sometimes, but I like to have a little variety.
No,
Okay.
no, we're gonna
Actually,
have to
Yeah.
make some adjustment. You are the face man, and
My
we're gonna have to
grizzled
make
character.
Tower something else. We'll have to do adjustment here. We need to have a flow. So we'll work on it. But GOP, become the
Okay.
face man, please.
All right. So, I would assume, is there like a card or something? I have information to give him on basically who to contact to get paid, right? Because I mean, I don't think I have that kind of money on me for whatever it is, unless I
No,
do,
you
but I
probably
don't
would
know.
just give a card. But you probably try to do a little bit of negotiation. You would think, see what he's thinking, and then make a phone call.
Well, that really depends on how useful that information is. If it can lead to an arrest, I think we can definitely get you paid.
He says 50 grand.
holy shit.
What is the normal pay rate? I
Probably
would know this.
somewhere between 5 and 10.
And that's not how we work, man. You gotta
A
work
young
with us a little bit. That's a bit much, and you know it, or you should know it.
He says,
I can't get an
"All right,
accent at all
all
tonight.
right, I'll take your standard pay, but I want a meeting."
with who?
One of the Dove uppers, maybe your boss.
Is that something we would normally do, or we would normally allow? Because
You
once
would
again,
have to
we're
make a
first
phone
time in
call
the.
and ask. You wouldn't know. It's your first mission.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna make a phone call.
Okay.
But
And you call back to mission control, of course, and because she's the one in charge of all this shit. And you get the dispatcher, and for this type of thing, she is, she can't. The dispatcher can't make a call on that. So she actually puts you through to Lady Ninma, and Lady Ninma says, "Yes, agent. How may I help you?"
I have a gentleman here who's interested in having a conversation. In exchange, he's going to give us some information about a particular case we're working on. But he wanted to speak with one of our higher ups. As
Name
it was, it's Mordecai. What was his last name?
Temple.
Temple.
Temple. Mordecai Temple.
Mordecai. Always trying to get in. Fine. Tell him I'll send someone to meet with him and give him 5 grand.
All right. And I hang up and I'll let him know. All right, sounds like a deal. You'll get your meeting and your 5 grand.
He says, fair enough. And he takes the card, and he trusts your word. It sounds like this guy has had. He did mention twice. This is the third time in his life, so he sounds like he has had some interaction with Dove before. He says, "Yeah, okay. Well, I know exactly who's up to this kind of nonsense, and I told them to be careful and look out what they're doing." He said, "It's definitely they call themselves the Coven." How fucking original is that?
Hmm.
Goddamn Twilight
Names.
people.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm
and he
writing
goes
down
on a
notes.
little mini rant about the effects of Twilight and the modern stupid culture that has enriched it, and all the dumbasses who believe it. He goes on a little rant, right? But he said anyway, well, right, it's yeah, they call themselves the Coven, and they're a bunch of idiots, but they do have some magical knowledge and ability, but. They were kind of pulsing up the area here over the past year with, when magical things happen, we can feel it, right? And you guys all know that's
Mhm.
true. And they've been messing with stuff they shouldn't mess with. I'm sure this is their handiwork, because, like he says, he doesn't think that thing because of the situation with the pictures and what you explained to him. He doesn't think that this was the result. He thinks that was a leak. That thing
Mhm.
just kind of got out. It wasn't part of what was actually being done. But amateurs tend to do that, and you guys know that. You have studied that, even though you're kind of almost well, you're not amateurs, but you're just above that. Nevertheless, he says, yeah, it's the Coven, and he goes in, he describes them in detail with you, and he says the three people involved in the Coven are the witch, which you can find her at the asylum, although the asylum in this town isn't much of a thing. It's kind of an open door. She can come and go as she likes. The goddamn prima donna, the diva, and he thinks he's some kind of hip mogul, and then the harlot. Now, you guys know, we don't even need to roll for this. Your occult knowledge is enough. That this is a very standard collection of the power of three. It's very standard. You'll have the wizard, the sorcerer, the witch, or some kind of magical person. You'll have the mover and shaker, in this case the diva, and then the harlot, the sex witch. Because in this world, as in any kind of magical stuff, if you study history, sex magic is powerful. And this is one of the reasons why witches are often associated with sexual acts and sexual magic, because it is. So the harlot tends to be a sex magic based user. But you recognize the titles he's giving you. He's speaking in occult understanding, and you understand what he means by these titles. These people don't call themselves that,
Mhm.
but he's calling them that, explaining that they are a trinity, which is pretty standard. And he also tells you that even though they live in different places, they do have what they call their house, and he describes where it is and what it looks like.
All right, that's good to know.
All right.
Um, yeah.
Now, today we had a little bit of backtracking and a little bit, we're still explaining. Things will get quicker and quicker here. I was actually hoping to finish today, but we probably have another hour of gameplay and we're not going to be able to do that. So that's all right. We'll pick it up next week and we'll do some finish up stuff. And I think we need to do some modification too for the party. And we'll take care of that off screen. However, we're going to leave it here for today. Uh, excuse me. It's really unfortunate. I was really hoping I could get all the way through it, but I think I need another hour. But because it's a pretty interesting little thing, and I'm gonna have to get tight about it. But seeing as we're still new to it, I guess it will slow us down some. Because I want each one of these to be a case file, and I want them to be done in one episode mainly.
Monster of the week kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. I will endeavor myself to make sure that we facilitate that. But I think it's just because we're new at it, and we're still figuring it out and stuff, and that's fine. But anyway, awesome. You guys have any question? We in for today?
I just gotta get my character voice down because I'm just all over the place tonight.
Well, we need
But
to adjust what we're doing here.
yeah.
That's fine. But go ahead.
But no, I think we've got the basics. Well, I mean, I've got the basics down. I don't know about everyone, but
I feel
yeah,
like I get the basic idea too.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward, actually. Okay.
Mhm.
Lady, any questions?
I'm sure I'll think of a couple
Sweet.
over the week.
Okay. Uh, anyway, well, we got ourselves a little bit of a mystery, simple one, monster of the week, as GOP had said. Um, but we didn't do any further combat, and we didn't complete the actual mission. So there's no additional experience points beyond finishing the ending night experience, which is 1. So everyone gets an additional experience point. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Well, anyway, thank you all very much. We will check you out next week. Keep in mind the way that I have this set up. Anybody can come in and join us. You're welcome to. If you want to try it out and to get in there, I think this is a good system to start on. Actually, it's pretty straightforward. But we'll continue next week. Also on Drone Recorder Ultimate Edition on Thursday. I do believe we're doing Sporkman's new thing. I'm pretty sure we're doing Sporkman. So come on back for that. That should be fun. But other than that, thank you all very much. And yeah, later.
Boy, now.
Peace.
Take it easy.